I want to play PUBG. But first, I gotta kill some niggas tonight. I mean, some sorry Twitches. Let's see here.
Did you say some sorry Twitches?
It works. Trust me. There we go. Got that, got that, got that. Okay, I think we're good to go. And... welcome back, everyone, to another game of Skyfall 5e. How was the fucking week? Or two? It's been a while.
Pretty good.
Too long.
Too long.
Not too long.
Pretty much at Jimmy's for the entire, last...
Say what?
Yeah, I was at Jimmy's house for, the entire, last week and a half.
Well, it's been fun, because I gave the go-ahead to throw out the Monday spoilers, so everyone's just been there on the chat.
They're hopping all that train.
Yeah. So who knows what'll happen. Anyway, picking you guys up where you left off, your group had made it out of Co, and you were traveling to... let's see here.
Everwatch.
You were traveling to Everwatch. You had made it to... oh shit. Am I missing a note file?
Oh no.
No, you guys finished the session at the Dragon Head, did you not?
We did.
Okay, oh, thank God. Thank God. Yeah, so the original plan was to get to Everwatch. And on your way there, a couple of things happened. You guys got a bit sidetracked, and before long, you ended up around the, oh, nice. This is my jam. Around the large Dragon Head statue. And, I think the last thing that was relevant that happened was somebody went by it with Detect Magic, and you discovered that it was no statue, but it had some form of abjuration magic in it. So I hand the session back to you. The five of you are clustered around the place. What do you guys want to do? It is a day in summer, early in the morning.
Zone out.
The crocodiligator.
Send
in the teleporting crocodiligator. Oh, read the messages. Well, I don't think I would read the messages unless I've had any indication that we time skipped.
Yeah. Right. It doesn't look like you have yet, standing and looking around. Yeah. Like, everything seems the same. You know these things can always be around the corner, cough. But, yeah, it seems like there's no new messages.
Yeah, so if I sense that something has
Why you
changed,
coughing?
It's only been 2 seconds in game, so...
But, before he sends the crocodiligator into the dragon
teleporting
I'm
crocodiligator.
So confused.
I'm gonna take out that wand that we had found. And, walk up as close to the dragon head as I can get.
Okay.
I'm going to zone out almost immediately.
I'm gonna be like, guys, should I see if I can find if there's like a door or anything here? Or like any traps or anything?
Well, you did say something was keeping us out, or some sort of magic was placed on the head.
That's a good idea.
Oh, I heard magic. I can help. I swear. I can help.
So I'll take the wand of secrets out and give it a little wave.
Sure.
Are you playing with sticks over there?
Yep.
You see Trent the Crip reach into his coat. He pulls out a small stick and waves the thing. What looks like little sparks of green energy fly from the thing and then pulse out in a large radius around him. And it seems as though nothing has happened until you guys see that they're sticking to a part of the dragon. Underneath it, on not the statue itself, but a little rock face just below, they've outlined what looks like a rectangle roughly about the size of a door.
Dear God, he's done it.
What? I can't see.
What do you mean?
Where is it?
Are you blind?
It's right there.
Are you okay?
It's hard to look down when I'm on crutches, guys. Can you have a little bit of sympathy for me, please?
Bend your neck like you do normally. Okay. Well, okay, there's clearly a door there. How do you open it now?
Oh! Oh, I got this!
Congratulations, you crippled yourself.
I got it. Move.
I
you
can
look down, you bastard.
Move, Trent.
I can open it if you want me to without even touching it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You should do that.
Then I'm gonna move, Trent. Hold on. Behind Bert. Thank you.
I'll
Merton.
I'll warn you guys though, it's kind of loud.
Oh no! That's a bad idea in case someone's in there.
Oh, that.
Oh, I just...
Oh, if someone's in there, then
Well, we
take
can try it
care of
another way. I thought that
I got
wand
it.
opened it. Oh, you got it.
I would like to start the ritual for Dispel Magic.
Why don't we just push?
Okay.
Try-
You start
I'll just
a
try to
ritual.
Push.
So to give you guys an idea, it's like here, let me show you real quick. The dragon head would be like right here. Right, and then you got like a shitty little Trogdor eye or something there, kind of thing, and a bunch of water vomiting out. And it's underneath here, like this is where the door is, and you guys are on an overhang that's roughly around the same level. So it's like a ye old video game underneath the waterfall sort of thing.
So can we not like get to it?
No, you can just walk right up to it.
Oh,
Yeah, you'd have to like.
We're down here, I think. Like we're
There's-
not on the dragon head.
can I just walk
There's no
to
path
it? And
to it, but if you just kind of step over a couple of rocks, you can get right up to it.
I just want to do that and push on it. You know,
Okay,
sometimes the most obvious thing
sure.
is easy.
You shuffle over to the thing. It's still lit up by this magic here, and when you get over to it, you place your hand on it, and you feel something like an energy almost that's emanating from the rock there when you put your hand on the thing. It doesn't seem to open, however.
She is, but she's ritual casting it, so I'm just doing this for time being.
Yes.
I'd like you to
No.
make an investigation check, please, Merton.
Did Illyria tell us what she's preparing to do, or did she just start? the
She
ritual?
said it, yeah.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
guys would know.
Big
Illyria, I
niner.
don't know if we want to dispel the magic. It might be the magic that made the door, so without the magic, there might not be any door at all.
Alright, then I'm gonna stop.
No,
God, Trent,
I
you ruined
disagree
everything.
here.
I mean, you
disagree
could-
here.
No,
You
you
can
ruined
see
everything.
the
I was in the middle
ritual.
of it, and you ruined everything.
Take it
told you.
off.
Paladin Merton is obviously being repelled here, and there is
Oh, what?
magic here keeping
I
us
wouldn't
out.
call it repelled. It's just it's a rock face, you know.
Well, sure, but
Wait,
there's something that could be dispelled and allow
are
us
you
access.
trying to
and-
open it with your hand?
Well, have you? Sometimes I mean it's a door. Sometimes
Yeah,
you just
I know,
push a
but-
door.
Did anything happen?
No, I was just trying stuff while you were doing your magic thing.
Well, I don't want to dispel it because now I'm scared it'll go away.
Merton, help me hop down there.
It's like 3 feet. I'll help you.
Yeah, but it's loose rocks and I'm on crutches. Come on, man. Just give me a
Send a hand. You're gonna be fine though.
You're gonna be
Oh,
fine.
I'll hop along over to the doorway.
Well done.
Okay.
Thanks for your help.
Sure.
We
Now,
knew you
last
could do
time
it.
we saw a door like something like this, there were some like words that appeared. Maybe there's a way to trigger that.
Oh god.
So I'll kind of put my hand on the doorway
Okay.
and feel the energy there and see if I can like, I don't know, look around for any ways to
Sure. You can make an
trigger
investigation
words
check.
or anything.
I'll whisper down to Illyria that she should just finish the ritual.
I would
Oh,
like to go back to starting my ritual.
22?
Okay.
Wait. Yeah, I have a +4 to mine. Wait, we have a. Did our proficiency go up?
Yes.
Yes.
You are now level 5.
So that would be a
Your plus-
23?
But doesn't your sheet should automatically update?
I don't have my
Sheet
sheet
to
open
level
yet.
5. Oh, I see.
Looking at the door, or what you assume to be a door from the shimmering green light, you see something. It's not exactly a perfect rectangle, and there over on the right hand side, similar to where you'd find like a doorknob, you see that there's a mild indent in the green lighting. There's like a little circle, a small focus where some of the energy seems to have collected.
I see. I'll take a step back and dust my hands off.
Okay.
Merton,
Uh-huh.
try right there. I'll point to the
Try
end
what,
back
pushing?
away from the door. That's like an indent. See if you can move the door.
I'll try to wiggle the indent or push the indent or pull the indent or do something.
Okay.
All of the above.
What Trent points to is something that you had missed, roughly about the size of a very small coin. There's a small little cluster of some of that shimmering green energy, and when you put your hand on it, it actually pushes the rock. It depresses roughly about a single centimeter, and after that, the whole mountainside seems to rumble for a brief moment. The door starts to retract.
Oh boy. You did it.
We fucked up.
No, we didn't fuck up. Everyone,
Okay, good.
this door is opening.
Trent, you move to panic, but in your crippled state, there's very little space to actually move to. You're stuck in spot, but you watch as the door goes back a few inches and actually recedes into the mountain. A moment later, it starts to move downwards, and the whole slab of rock just filters down into the floor until there's a large tunnel leading into the darkness. For a moment, you can see nothing, and then there's a triumphant sort of roar, and you guys on the side here see what looks like a burst of water that comes jetting out of the dragon's mouth. And as that happens, you guys who are standing in front of the door, you guys see a whole bunch of torches that just light instantly, like all the way down. The hallway is huge, and it's magnificent too. It's not like a small hallway that you'd find in a tavern where spaces are kind of cramped. It's like, double wide, vaulted ceiling, 10 feet tall kind of thing.
As this is all going on, it's like really, really loud, right?
Yeah, you guys hear what sounds like a rush of water from above you, the sound of flame popping, and then, like a dragon's roar and the mountain sort of rumbling. It's enough sound that you can kind of feel it in your body, when it's like really bassy and those waves go through you. It's like that.
Like you're trying to zoom.
You feel like you've been cured of some like latent indigestion.
I suppose you don't have to finish your ritual now. They seem to have figured out.
I would like to stop. Again.
I want to, seeing how loud this was and knowing what this place is,
Okay.
I'm gonna grab my that necklace and see if anybody has heard the noise and is like reporting that someone's opening it or something like that.
Interesting. Grabbing a hold of the necklace, you peer into the recent messages, and you find that there are no new ones. It's still all the stuff from last time you checked, which I think was roughly about an hour ago or something like that.
Something about meat for trade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as that happens, I'll kind of look it over at everybody and be like, well, if anybody's here, they haven't sent any messages about it, so.
That's good. Maybe Blue is still on their way. Seems like we're one step closer. Let's get in there.
I would like Trent and Merton to make insight checks, please.
Hey, you guys up there, you should probably, like, scuff out our campsite if we're going in case someone does show up.
Okay.
God damn it.
Oh yeah, 17, baby.
I would like to clean it up.
Okay.
Ocho. ESPN 8, the Ocho.
To you, Trent, staring up ahead, you see what looks to be an old hallway, maybe a dungeon or some kind of strange complex, perhaps a temple or a shrine, but either way, it looks kind of old and dated, and you're curious as to what mysteries might lie there. But for you, Merton, when you stare down the hallway, you feel a terrible sense of foreboding, and despite the fact that you are not even living in the traditional sense, you feel unsettled staring at it. There's nothing visual that gives off this impression. All of the torches which have lit have normal flame of standard orange that flickers about, and the light that plays throughout the hallway seems to be normal. Everything is in place, and yet you feel like there's something wrong.
There's a pit in my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Does it compel me to change my mind?
That's up to you. You get this feeling. Whether you would decide to turn back is completely up to you.
What has made you two freeze? Press on.
I was
Already
just
opened the
thinking of what
door.
kind of ancient civilizations might have built something like this.
There's something
Obviously-
bad in here.
Well, obviously, we understood the grandeur of dragons. This is definitely in Azun's image, if not else. That roar was magnificent. If you guys are too afraid to go, then I will lead the way. At the
Ooh,
very
I wanna go.
least, I need to see this.
Did you guys hide our shitty makeshift Black River camp?
I tried to.
Cool.
This is a very dangerous place. We should really understand
Hey,
what we're going
guys.
into before we go.
Before we go in, I do have one thing to kind of think about here. When we came here originally looking for Black River, he was camped right there, right? Like outside.
Correct. Right next to the mouth of the cave that we're standing in.
And he was pretty unhappy to have been found, right? Like, he didn't look like he was, I mean, not necessarily hiding, but he kind of reacted pretty viscerally when he knew that we knew who he was, right?
No,
Yeah,
he was
I
cordial
guess.
until we started talking to him. And then he teleported with the
Yeah, right. Once he knew that we knew who he was, right?
Are you saying perhaps there's a reason he was sitting outside of this instead of being inside?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about.
I'm
here.
getting that feeling too. Seems like evil
Could very
place
well have
or
been
a
a god
dangerous
for this
place
place.
or really bad.
Well, Merton, as much as we feel this way, perhaps we just proceed with caution. Because, I mean, aside from sitting out here and waiting for Blue, this is the best we've got at figuring out what's going on here.
I think for all your safety, you should maybe tread back a few. Let me go first.
In case you step on any more bear traps. I'll
You
give him a
know.
wink.
Or worse.
If you're attempting to scout ahead after such a loud roar and noise, I don't advise that. I say we stick together. Press on as a
I
formation.
think he means more in case there's magical traps.
I don't think there's people in here. I think there's...
Well, if you want to keep your eyes out for traps, that's fine. But
Well, more just
Let's
like
press
if he
on
steps
together.
on something that
Not-
blows up.
I'm not
he doesn't-
saying, wait an hour and come in. I'm saying just stand, 30 feet away.
You don't gotta tell me twice.
I could agree with that. Let's go then.
Hey, Illyria,
Mm.
you don't have to, come in here with us, right?
I mean,
It's too
sure,
scary.
Trent. I would love to stand outside this weird waterfall where you apparently met a crazy spellcaster who tried to kill us. By myself. Next to an open hole. on
I
the edge
also
of a
think
cliff.
it's inappropriate to question her commitment to this, considering she
She's
just
already stated she wants to go in. Let her be a free self.
I'm just saying,
Trent, if I
we
stand
made
here
an-
by myself, someone's definitely gonna kill me. Or kidnap me and sell me as a slave. I'm too pretty to be a slave.
I mean, you made it all the way to Co by yourself. You're obviously capable of, traveling or being by yourself. I just thought, this is pretty dangerous, and if it wasn't something you wanted to do, I wasn't gonna, pressure you into it. Sorry.
Oh wait, is this the inside? Like of the cave?
This
No.
is
This is the entrance.
Yeah, that's
like a
what I thought.
rock fall kind of thing.
Okay. So I step forward and
And then this is the
Peppa.
plateau where the camp was, and this is the tunnel, of course, the hallway.
Thanks for
tap
looking out for
Trent
me,
on the
Trent.
side. It's like the chivalries knows that,
Being alone.
as you said, she is competent to take care of herself. She will be useful, and her commitment has definitely been shown when she risked her life to save you, going into the dreamscape and whatnot.
True that.
Yeah, honestly, what was that?
In the 5 seconds they're talking, I'll disguise myself to Black River and be like, "Oh, I guess it's time to go in now, isn't it?"
Wait, before we do, Merton, here. I'll toss him the bracelet.
Who's Merton?
Do you not want this bracelet?
That was a necklace.
The
Necklace?
bracelet.
I don't know which one it is.
There's
No,
Are
a-
you talking about the counter charm
Bracelet?
bracelet? Or
the counter spell bracelet.
Oh,
or counter spell?
There's
I,
two beads on it, I think, right?
Yes.
I sort of reflected over the magic in this, and I think that I don't necessarily need the bracelet, and I thought it might be useful to sort of spread it out in case something kills me in one hit.
Well, let's also
wouldn't that mean
prevent
you would
you
want it?
dying in one hit as well. but Merton, you are leading the way as our vanguard. I agree. Take the bracelet.
I'll take it for now.
Ooh.
Try and hold on to them. There's only 2 of them, and
Okay.
I don't think they come back.
I would like to cast guidance on Merton.
I will hold on to it,
Okay.
and I'll stealth forward
Okay.
while looking for traps.
There is nowhere to hide in this hallway.
Or just quiet footsteps, not like rushing.
Gotcha. Okay. So you can move yourself into the hallway a bit there if you'd like. There is a masking sound which makes your entrance into this strange complex a little bit more silent. The sound of rushing water can actually be heard almost as though it's just a few bricks above you through the ceiling, like it's coming down a channel that runs the length of the tunnel itself. And this kind of fills the actual the hallway with like a sound of rushing water, and that makes your footsteps somewhat quiet.
It's like right under the river in the mountain or something.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay, well, until something changes in the layout, just doing the same.
Sure. Now, at the end of this hallway, there's a large set of double doors that you can see. It's maybe 100 feet or something like that away. The tunnel doesn't seem to have reacted to you entering into it. Everybody else is standing on the outside, past the threshold of the doorway, and you go in a brave 10 feet, and nothing happens. That pit in your stomach still remains, but you're still alive.
I see the door from here. It's lit up, yeah.
You can. It looks to be made of stone, but it's clearly been carved and etched out in a way that gives it the look of a door.
Trent or Illyria, do you perhaps want to
Hmm?
come up and see if this door ahead is magical?
Hop, 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 hop.
Well, that's allowed. What
Wait, is he already at the door? I thought he was going ahead to examine for traps first.
Right now, you guys are positioned where you're positioned. If you want to
Well.
move somewhere, to just let me know and shuffle yourself.
I'll walk forward first, but I see a door up there, so I'm just mentioning it before I walk up by myself.
Okay.
I'll lead the way, Trent, but meet me there and
Hey, Illyria, got a second? Do you have detect magic ready to go? Because I got a ritual if I want to use it.
I don't really think I have detect magic.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
Hey, I can definitely check that door out for you, but
10 minutes.
just take the 10 minutes, Trent.
thanks, guys. Sorry. I plop down, lean my crutches up against the wall, take out my candles, my spell book, and start reading and performing the ritual.
Question, because my group page is slightly behind. I did not update it recently. Illyria, what languages do you have?
Oh, I thought I put it in there. Let me find them again.
You definitely did. I just haven't checked yet. If you could just let me know what they are, that'd be
Common,
awesome.
Elvish,
Okay.
Abyssal, Draconic, Infernal, and Dwarvish.
Yeesh. Holy Christ. Okay. All right.
Is that because of Bard or?
That is
of your
because
background?
of background and half-elf.
It's because
And
every character in 5e is
sword?
fucking hooked on phonics.
I know there's a few characters that only know common and halfling. Come on.
Yeah,
now.
but that's the rarity in this game.
Sure
it's
enough.
like-
Yeah, if you know one language, you're
If I
good,
could
it's
make a
fine.
character that only knew Halfling and didn't know Common, I would totally.
4
I would
out
be
of
so
5.
angry with your character.
I'd say probably 4 out of 5 characters have 3+ languages, and then 2 is like the one retard that you've got.
The fighter, the paladin.
Exactly.
Hey.
It's a long way down this mountain, you little fucker. As you approach the thing, Merton, getting closer and closer, some of your party members make their first few tentative steps into the hallway. When you get up towards the door, it once again is like the other one that you had seen, 2 large slabs of stone, but unlike the others, disguised as a rock face that hides the entrance from the outside world. These are clearly doors. They have a decorative space where a handle would be, and a kind of filigree almost, like a bit of masonry that's been carved into the different corners that give off the impression of 2 large rectangles. The handles themselves are styled in a particular way. They look like 2 large teeth almost, or maybe not teeth, perhaps a horn, or maybe like a, you know, those beer cups, like the steins that are made out of like a buffalo horn, that kind of thing. It's like
Yep.
this big curved object on either side of the doors.
Strange markings. While transmitting this ritual, Illyria, I think maybe if people didn't know we were in here when they got here, would be the best. Do you think we could try to look for a way to close that entrance back up?
Sure.
Maybe there's another indent somewhere.
I would like to feel around for a button.
Interesting.
Make sure Zakul's inside first.
Oh, right, get in.
Make a investigation check, please.
Sure. That's a 5. There we go. So, what is that, 3? That's a 7.
7. Okay. You walk over there, start to look around. You're having a little bit of trouble when it comes to finding any sort of button that'll close this thing. It remains open, the wind from outside occasionally blustering into this closed hallway. Something does, however, happen. Zakul, as you step into the hallway, a loud sound plays throughout the very moment that your feet pass the threshold. Some of you don't understand, but the majority of your party, given their vast set of knowledge for all the fucking different languages in this world, hear a bunch of Draconic that comes through. And it says, "Welcome, kin," in a sort of like almost apathetic voice. It's
I'm gonna
not
do a shocked
friendly
face.
or cold or anything like that. Just a simple welcome.
Super shocked face is a cool.
Mm,
Like,
How
mouth
about
super wide,
replying?
big
the
old.
dragon
big
mouth
old.
talked when the dragon came in.
Dragon for the Dragon King!
How about replying Draconic? Forgive us, patron. We are here to visit with some guests. Allow us safe entry in.
Would you kindly make for me a wisdom roll? Alternatively, you can use charisma given that you're a pally.
Pally, baby. Oh,
Close. That's an 8.
Okay. You speak into the hallway. Perhaps this voice has a sentience, and when you say a couple of kind words back, it does not reply. Maybe it was more of an automated message. At this point, it's too early to tell. But there was clearly some sort of effect from when you entered into the place.
Oh, I think I know that one. And then I go back to performing the ritual. Because I have magic mouth.
Yeah, I'll talk back to I'll share what I heard to Merton and what I replied back,
Sure.
just because he doesn't understand Draconic and
No
the
idea.
implications of it.
Yeah, those of you who don't understand would hear just like a couple of words, not even something befitting of a sentence, in a very sort of harsh and guttural language.
do you think it would be respectful to make myself look like you, or would that be disrespectful?
Well, it definitely didn't detect you as a dragon, or one with the dragons walking in, so I don't see it necessary walking forward. If you wish to try it, then I would see no harm. But the Black River look is suiting as well.
Oh, you think so?
The voice spot on. It actually grates my nerves.
The hallway
I
says, "No gays."
Yeah, actually, you sound like a prick, Merton.
I almost want to call you a fairy.
I take that as a compliment.
Valyria, if you will, let's get closer to the
Can you
inside.
help me to close the
I
door?
think we should really try to find the.
If there's no button, then can I try like forcing it closed with like strength?
Illyria
but
has
don't
made her
break it.
check, and no, the actual slab receded into the ground, so there's nothing really.
Okay,
like,
okay.
even if you could pull it up, that'd be like a few 100 pounds.
No, I got it. I just
Why
thought
don't-
it like slid over to the side or something.
No.
Maybe I could.
Why don't you ask it to close, since you seem to be, respected here? Is it cool?
Hear me, kinsman, if you will. Do you mind closing the entrance again to keep out others?
Nothing seems to happen. The door does not come back up from the ground.
I look over at Merton with like the best, I tried look with my shrug of my shoulders.
I'll give him a shrug back.
Meanwhile, over here,
Nice.
Trent, you have finished casting your little ritual. What is it that you've just casted?
Detect magic. And also, before you describe that, I had a quick question for you about. Now, when I put the wand of secrets down in my notes, I wrote 3 charges next to it. But for some weird reason, I feel like when you gave us the item, you specified that it only had 1 charge.
Oh.
Like it could only be
Yeah.
used once. Like I very
Yeah, it's
Makes
once
me
per day,
remember
right?
Once per day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you changed it for once per day.
Yeah,
Instead
okay.
of charges.
Thanks for catching that.
Yep, because I for whatever reason I wrote 3 charges in my inventory.
You
But
can add 2 karma points to your character sheet. Soon you'll have 1,000, which are needed to cash in a new life.
how many does a
Oh my God.
golden fedora cost?
A golden fedora? Oh, that's priceless.
Priceless.
Yeah.
Golden fedora?
Hashtag just relic things.
Just
Wait, can I cast minor illusion to make it look like the door or wall is sealed?
Oh, you could, sure. Yeah, with the wave of your hand, this shimmers up and then it just gets dark there, and you
did
make it
it.
look like there's a door closed.
How long would that last?
Well, if you want to stay
Oh,
there
I
the
don't
whole
know.
time, I guess.
I believe it only lasts a minute or 2. It's something
what-
you'll have to
what-
keep up.
I thought I got it, guys.
Well, I mean, it's not a permanent solution.
No, I definitely closed the door, sir.
Right.
With my ritual off here, I'll kind of step up closer to the door, see if I detect any magic on it.
Sure. There is a powerful evocation magic laced into the doorway.
Up, backing up, backing up.
What are we
Trent the
backing
Crypt
up?
backs it on up like a
Backing
Tonka
up,
truck,
backing up, backing up.
eventually bumping into Merton.
Oh, sorry, Merton. Yeah, that door's got some sort of magic trap on it, I think. Probably something that goes boom.
I like to pop my head out. It's my turn.
I don't
Turn me.
If you want to, or we can see if disarming it.
Why don't we
more
let
mundane.
the one who this temple is, made for go?
Well,
I would like the guidance of cool.
Can I?
And that's how we lost Zakul.
While
I roll my eyes at this suggestion. But I'm
Hey,
like,
if you want me to go, I'm
if you
perfectly
su-
fine.
If you think that's what we do,
Hey,
which
I'm pretty sure Illyria can get rid of the evocation magic, but it might be, the way to open the door or something also. I'm not, these things aren't set in stone. Although this one is, I guess, set in
true
stone.
enough.
I was just trying to be sensible.
No,
no.
Cool.
What Merton's saying is correct, though. Possibly this evocation or this thing that made go boom is true. So aptly put it, is only for trespassers who are trying to force their way in.
I mean, the temple
Don't
seemed
get
to
so
welcome you.
hoity-toity now, Zakul.
Illusion, while
Just
they
that
figure out what to do about that door, can I mean, the way we opened this door was pretty mundane. Like, it didn't seem, it had magical effects that happened, but we just pressed on a certain point. Can I examine, basically these torches and then everything from there back to the entrance and see if there's a mundane way of shutting the door?
Sure. Yeah, you can make an investigation check.
Big die, big number.
You lie!
Ooh.
That is a
Rolled a
10
three, too.
investigation check.
No luck. Searching about the place, you don't find any little doohickey that corresponds with the door. You kind of nudge one of the little torches, press on some different parts of the floor, It's still
I
stuck.
got it, guys! And I'll grab one of the torches and try and pull it, and then when nothing happens, I'll just be fuck, never mind.
Like burn your hand.
It could play to our advantage. When Blue gets here, if they do, they'll most likely say something, asking why the door is open, and then we'll know they're here.
It's optimistic, but if we can't do much about the door, then forget about it. Let's continue in. I'll walk up to the door at this point.
Okay.
See if it
Why don't
responds.
The door does not have any action when you come up close to it. It lays there, cold and dead, like stone.
Could I look around for any way to open this door? Like while I'm standing in front of it?
hold
The
on?
door has 2 handles, one on either side of the door.
Don't be
Alright.
offended, Zakul, but I'm gonna step outside for the.
Yeah, I want to be in the back out here.
Feel free to step back further then. I'll hold up my shield.
Okay.
I'll hold up my shield then, and I look at the door closely. Are these handles close enough that I could grab both of them?
You can, yes.
Okay. Well, here it goes, I suppose.
Wait, it's a cool.
Why is it cool?
I didn't really get like up close and personal with the door with my spell going. Do you want me to see if there's like words or runes or anything? See if I can tell more than just that it's evocation.
I think we've wasted enough time. If the
Alright,
temple
I
allows
just
us to do
ducked
that.
back around the corner.
Okay.
Come on!
Well, I didn't get to finish my sentence, but I suppose I suppose that's what I get.
I picture Trent has a pair of those, like, big earmuffs they wear on construction sites or whatever for blasting.
I'm like rolling up little pieces of or like wax and shoving them in my ears,
Yeah.
and hovering and ducking. Now,
Okay,
everybody, make sure that you have your head covered in case there's a cave-in when this happens.
This
We
is,
don't
I mean,
want
this is the
any
mouth of a
enemies.
dragon, so we're kind of going down the throat. That's where fire comes from. So, kind of
Oh, yeah.
maybe you two should move even more.
Yeah, but I want to just see what happens.
Oh, you might. See
I'll
it.
warn you if anything happens. Plus, fire does
Might
not
be
hurt
too
me.
late for that.
Well, I know fire doesn't hurt you as much.
Yeah,
That's
fire
bad.
hurts me.
Yeah, I was telling her to back off a little.
Hey, Lyria, look at this.
What?
Come here.
That's distracting.
What?
Do you come around the corner?
No.
As soon as she comes around the corner, I pull the hand. Okay. Anyways.
I wave the wand of secrets like around the corner. Look at this. Look at this rune right here.
I'm gone.
Just start
I will-
jingling some keys.
I will grab both handles and try turning them.
When you put your hands around these, even though you're currently wearing like adamantine plated gauntlets, you can feel an energy throughout the door. It kind of like pulses through your hand. And when you go to turn the handles, they don't turn.
Okay, well, can I pull or push? these
When you
handles?
pull, nothing happens, but when you push, the doors move apart. They do so in an assisted fashion as you watch what look like 2 impossibly heavy slabs of rock move as though they're clearly being propelled by some kind of magic. It opens up into a grand and massive hall a couple of 100 feet across from one side to the other, similarly lit with torches that burst into existence, and a loud booming sound comes out from your spot by the door. Very, very close to the point where it would like rupture your eardrums, but just a few decibels underneath, and it shouts out like, it's loud enough that the people who are on the other side of the hallway, you guys can easily hear it. And it says, "Welcome to the halls of the immortal dragon Tyrannus."
Mortal Dragon Tyrannus.
Yep.
Can I make a history check?
I was
You
gonna say,
certainly
is there anything in followers of Azun that I would know from a religion check here?
Meet at Tuesday
Not
nights
a
under the
problem.
bridge. The password is 6 Semper Tyrannus.
It's
I-
anyone with
I would have religion.
Okay, so if I can't go off the name, just looking around, is there any symbols or just the architecture of this? that
I
would
will
remind me
describe
of
what
it?
you see in here in a moment. Let's see what we get for history for telling who Tyrannus is. And don't roll if you don't have proficiency.
I rolled a 16
Rip.
history.
Mine was religion, I'm sorry.
Religion will not help you, sadly.
Goodbye, good roll. Yes, I want the Wand of Secrets if you wave it in front of my face. Fine.
Okay, you can have that.
Yes.
If you want to copy what's written on my inventory, it's
I
on the
really
third
want to
sheet.
look at
It's a
it
very
for like
large
2
hole.
seconds, and I'll give it back.
A 16 on history.
Here you go, Trent. I don't want it.
Trent, you know something. I'm gonna
Yes.
roll to see what you know
Can I spend my karma points on a good DM roll here?
on a good DM roll. Sadly, those are always left up to rolls.
You may spend them and hope that the roll is
He wants a
better.
+2 to this TM roll.
Mhm,
I don't want to
mhm.
plus anything. I just want Lucian to roll.
If you could have a character that had a bonus to luck rolls, that would be the most OP thing ever, considering how many luck rolls we do in a session. It determines like 90% of the campaign.
That's
Yep.
true.
This says that I get proficiency in one skill of my choice. Can I take DM luck checks?
DM luck rolls, please. I like expertise.
That roll you did just there, Alicia, could definitely have used advantage or something.
You are familiar with the name Tyrannus. You know of a myth of an old elder dragon, about as old as can be, who amassed enough power that he was said to have transcended death. And he had reached a point where the amount of knowledge and power and magic that was available to him was so great that he decided that the world was beyond him and retreated from it, and nobody ever saw him again. Before that time, he had shown up in stories as like a powerful figure, sometimes assisting the hero, or in other case, undoing them. You don't think that Tyrannus is a good or a bad figure, simply that he is incredibly powerful and at some point vanished. As far as a time frame goes, this would have been like thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. If you had to guess, if there's somebody that would know more, you would say probably the Dragonborn, as some of their traditions are very old, or the Elves with their insane lifespans. But that's what you know from what you've read.
Now, I have another question for you. I have Illyria's magic book, and I know I can't use it to like automatically record things.
You mean Tessa's?
Tessa, sorry, yeah. I know I can't
Rip in
Ask
peace,
it.
T-Money.
to always. Yeah, T-Money was the best of us. I can't always just. I mean, it worked the one time, but I'm assuming I can't just like have it record stuff like she did. Like, would it allow me to like use its quill and write in it like past where her story ended?
You would have to try that. If you want to go ahead and take the book and mess with it, that's up to you.
Okay, I will try that, and if I'm able to, then I will, at our next long rest, like retroactively go back and record the group's journey since the last entry. But for now, I'm just going to try and write down what I remember about Tyrannus in here,
Sure.
if the book will let me.
Okay. Now, before we get to that, given that you're taking a moment to kind of remember this stuff, so cool, you're up at the main way here, and a bunch of torches light up. The room is shaped like a massive hexagon, almost like a circle made from a number of sides here. And it has one central feature, which appears to be like a large hole in the center of the room. From your vantage point here, there's little to tell where the hole might go, but the walls in this room are apparently made of glass, and the torches that are nearby cast like a dim sort of shimmering light that pierces past the glass and gives you a little bit of vision past them. It looks like a massive, like an underwater cave almost. So picture that past these points right here are just like massive fish tanks, basically, but with no fish in them. Yeah.
Whoa.
And each one of these corners where things meet are like large columns that have braziers on them that burn out brightly.
As I step forward and like touch the like, or look closer at the walls? Does it actually look like glass, or is it something that may be harder than glass, like a crystal?
Ah. So right here, next to the doorway, there are a couple of braziers as well, so it's very well lit. As you come over and look at the thing, go ahead and make for me a investigation check.
Yeah, 5.
You can't tell. The one thing that you notice is that if it is glass, it's very thick. And the light that's cast from the braziers will in some places show like a little bit of like rock face almost, like maybe the caves are sort of shallow and come up to here, but then there's other points which are just darkness and just leave you wondering how much of the inner portion of the mountain here is actually filled with water.
I'll shout back to the party at this point. Well, nothing went boom, but it's a very impressive hall up here. The walls are made of glass and seems to be a hole if you guys want to take a look. I'll step further away from the door, but not too far into the room, just so they can get in.
Take a slow step past the barrier.
The other 3 step back here as Merton tests.
Well, I was waiting to see if I was able to write stuff down before I rush in.
Sure. So we'll cut over here. You've got the book, and you open the thing up, and when you do, you grab the quill and you're going to write, and it seems as though everything is fine at first, and you jot down a couple of notes there, and then I want you to make a luck check, please, Trent.
The book just tears the page out. That's a 3 luck check.
Okay. The book behaves perfectly normally, and you're able to write down some notes into it.
Okay, cool. And as I just jot down what I remember about Tyrannus, I'll before I close the book, I'll thank it. Just be like, I don't really know if you're sentient or not, but I remember you had some sort of intelligence about you when Illyria or when Tessa would talk to you. So thank you for letting me take notes in here.
Okay.
I'll have more for you later, and then I'll put the book away and rush in. Come on, Illyria.
Okay.
Does
You
my
guys-
detect magic reveal anything around here where the evocation was before? Or is it gone now?
You can still feel it actually emanating from the doorway, but everybody seems to have passed by it anyway, so whatever it is, maybe you didn't trigger it, or maybe it wasn't what you thought, who knows.
Guys, just so you know, that magic is still... Whoa.
Wow.
This is one of the largest and grandest rock feature rooms that you guys have ever seen.
Whoa.
And the massive panes here are unlike anything that you guys have ever cast your eyes upon. Some of you perhaps have maybe seen a little glass jar that featured some sort of sea life in it or something, but this is something else. And given that there's nothing living in the water, perhaps because of just how cold and desolate it looks, it gives the area a air of stillness almost.
Is there blue light that filters in through are there light sources out there in the water that filter into the room, or?
No, there is light that casts into the water from
Okay.
the braziers here in your room.
Can we see clearly all the way into the water, or is there a...
He said there's black spots.
Yeah, so you can
okay.
see maybe 10 to 20 feet when the brazier is close to that area, and sometimes you see what looks like the back end of a cave, but other times it's just it's just black space. There could easily be underwater tunnels or cavities or something that you just can't see.
While he's looking at the tanks over there, can I walk over to the edge and peer down? Is this a
Sure.
ramp going down and a giant hole in the middle?
As you get closer over here, you eventually realize what it is that you're looking at. Right around here, and then as you get a bit closer, you notice that this is a set of stairs that descend down. And at each little point, they make a turn, and then here they make a turn, here they make a turn, and just in a massive spiral staircase, they go down and down into the earth. There's nothing for railing. The area in the middle here is so large that a a small airship could probably move through it. And furthermore, the depths down there are very, very poorly lit by small torches that have also kind of lit up since you've entered into here. And it looks like it goes down quite a ways. When you do you step onto the stairs and look
I'm not
down?
on the staircase. I'm still level with everybody else at the moment.
Okay.
But I want to pull out a.
This is the landing, to be clear. So at this point, the steps kind of start going down.
Okay. I want to point this out to everyone else. It seems to go down for miles and could be what we're looking for if you want to. Maybe there's another door though.
It's like an anti-fish tank. Instead of water in here, it's out there.
I was concerned that the glass is meant to break if trespassers need to be trapped underneath. If all this water were to come crashing down on us, pushing us into a spiral in the middle.
Oh man, that gives me an
probably
eerie
all go to
thought.
death.
If this is an anti-fish tank and people watch fish tanks, I
Oh
wonder
my
if
God, are we
something's
fish?
watching this. Interesting. Does
we
my
are.
special eyes allow me to see past the darkness in the water, like farther than they would?
Oh. Make a luck roll, Merton. If it's an 11 or higher, then it's not murkiness of water.
Devil sight.
That is a damn shame.
He said 11 or higher, but
It seems it's not darkness. You can see, I would say, a little bit further than people can, but the water actually has some particulate in it that, keeps you from seeing too far.
It was worth a shot.
This is so freaking cool, guys.
Merton, make an investigation check, please. I don't care if
Yeah,
you have
just like-
proficiency.
Staring out into this water, like, it's really cool. I definitely don't have proficiency. Hey, I rolled a 9.
Never mind,
I
you're
rolled-
fucked.
I'm fucked.
You get nothing.
Oh, well, that's fine.
There was a bonus tidbit around the corner, but you don't get it.
you said there's no symbology in the room at all, right? Like no etchings or writing
Was the
or
bonus tidbit a giant dragon watching us from the water?
There is no symbology in here, no. It is curiously devoid of any sort of writings or statuettes or anything like that. Just these massive panes showing off into the darkened water.
Can I go and press my face up against the glass?
Sure. It feels cold. Not uncomfortably so, but yeah. And to be clear, this is the glass here.
Oh my God, what's wrong with me?
Yeah, this is the large staircase that goes down. I'll put a little arrow here.
Well, this place is certainly beautiful, if nothing else. But
Well-
that sense of foreboding stays. Can't help but say that. I don't know why. It's kind of scary.
I thought about checking the depth of this place, but if there is something down there that we don't want to disturb or be disrespectful towards, I thought throwing something into the depths here would be a bad idea.
Don't throw. I mean, this is a temple, right? To your people. It could be rude, seen as rude.
Oh, I should tell you guys who Tyrannus is. So cool, you might have actually heard of him, whether you remember it or not, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure the Dragonborn keep pretty extensive records about the past, and he was super fucking powerful dragon, elder dragon kind of figure, and not necessarily a good guy or a bad guy, just really, really, really powerful. And correct me if I'm wrong, Lucian, but he just sort of got bored and cast himself away.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Zakul, do you have history?
I do not.
Okay. I will let you roll a history check anyway, given that you're Dragonborn.
Alright. That is a 14.
Oh, Jesus Christ, people. Come on.
We are a smart group.
Hey, hold on now. I keep trying to go the religion route because I'm a paladin. That's the only intelligence thing I have.
The name Tyrannus sounds familiar, and when Trent says this, everything that he says kind of resonates with you. You're like, oh, that does sound like something I've heard. But you can't call any new information to light. Chances are that he was like a prominent figure, or perhaps important to your people at some point.
The name doesn't sound unfamiliar, but I apologize. I was born and raised on the Wind Ray. I know not as much as the natives in some of our ancient histories.
So we're in a giant cavern of a really powerful dragon that cast himself away. And he's still alive.
Well,
he's probably
I don't know
in
if
here.
he's alive or not, but he sort of just got bored and was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna disappear. And he hasn't been heard from him. I think you said like thousands of years, Illusion?
Like backing away from
Yeah.
the glass here.
Can
That's
I,
Tyrannus' place is. I don't
can
believe
I-
Tyrannus would be in here. That's
Well, it's
just-
certainly big enough.
Can I cast Mage Hand and wave to Illyria from the water?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Earlier, you see a spectral hand that appears in the water and shifts about.
What? What is it? I'll turn back and look, dispelling the magic
guys,
as I turn.
Guys,
What?
guys,
What?
there's
What?
Yes.
something in the water.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna
Yeah.
cast Mage Hand again on her shoulder.
It's on my shoulder.
I was
You
already
guys
kinda
see
freaked
Trent
out.
cast
I'm gonna,
Mage Hand on Illyria's
I'm
shoulder.
I'm gonna go a couple steps down the stairs because I was already kind of freaked out.
I have my
Come on, we
back
should
turned
keep
so
up, Illyria.
Martin.
We don't want to be left
Is
behind.
it gone? Wait, is it
Trent,
gone?
stop that.
Yeah, it's gone.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if there is something.
Wait, did
in
I
these
hear
things.
Zakul say Trent stop that?
Yeah, you guys are all in a
I would like
big
to
group.
fucking run and headbutt Trent.
No, please, I'm on the stairs.
I don't care.
Sparta?
Can I dodge?
You can certainly
Certainly
attempt to
try.
make a dexterity saving throw. And Illyria, you can go ahead and roll strength.
Oh fuck,
This
why
is
is that
not
be
Yeah,
the
shite?
place to
I
be
make her
Nat
disrespectful.
20
I
to
make
kick
hers
her
a
off.
5. I make hers a 5.
Okay.
That's better than what I got.
That's so good.
This is a temple. This is not a place to be being rowdy.
Illyria nudges you. You're ready for it, though, and it's like a, oof, oh, is that it? Kind of thing.
All
Why are
right.
you so
Pat her on the
mean?
head.
I couldn't see into the murky water,
That was
but can
funny.
I see down this giant dark pit?
You can. And if you peer over the edge and stare
would love
down,
to see.
you see that there are torches that have lit up at different spots all the way along this spiraling staircase. Its shape doesn't seem to change. It goes down like a perfect column. The spiral doesn't get wider or more narrow or anything like that. It just descends, and it descends so incredibly far that you can't actually see the bottom. It's like you see these rings of lights going in a spiral, going down, and it goes and it goes and it goes and it goes for so long that it's just a cluster of lights kind of at the bottom. If you had to count how many like floors you were looking at or stories to this strange staircase, it would be over like 50 or 100.
Oh, what do you see down there?
How do you guys feel about going for a hike?
No.
Well,
Can I
Trent,
even get down these stairs on my crutches, guys?
well, if you roll down the stairs, I'll promise you. I'll stand in front. But
Why don't you just carry me down, Zakul?
actually, Paladin Merton, I was going to ask if we are to assume the door allowed me to pass without going boom because of my race, then perhaps I should take lead.
Yeah, I wasn't going down. I just wanted to get away from the glass because I'm just kind of getting.
I was
eerie
actually going
feeling.
to ask you about that door, Zakul. Those were some pretty big, heavy doors. How did you move those exactly?
Well, whoever built this temple for Tyrannus deemed it that the followers didn't have to be as strong as him. They magically assisted me.
Oh, well, maybe that's what the evocation was. Maybe it just helps open the doors.
Trent, can you make me a very small charisma saving throw?
Why is it got to be small?
Why is it gotta be charisma?
Why is it got to fail?
Oh no!
Oh, get
Well,
it.
Hurl yourself off the side.
that is rather small. That is a 7.
You did ask him to make it small, so
Trent is mid sentence. You know, he's just finishing the last little bit there, but when he gets to the last word, he freezes and stares off into the distance. His body shakes for a moment, almost like a small stroke has struck him. And Trent, you see what looks like an abyss that suddenly takes over your vision. It's like a cascading set of images that suddenly just come bursting through into your mind, and as they do so, this sort of film, this little clip that plays out, you see and hear the sounds of water all around you, but everything is pure black, and then you see what looks like 2 large green eyes that open off in the distance, and a set of tentacles that start to writhe around them, and then suddenly you're back. You're standing there on the top of the steps.
Where's the Trent? Trent.
Trent starts running out of the room.
Try not to fall.
As fast as I can hop on my crutches. Nope. I'm out.
Nope.
I'll meet you guys at the entrance. Have fun.
Nope.
There's
Okay,
something.
Bye.
There's something in here.
I
I don't
do a
want to be a
double.
part of this.
I do a double take over the side. I'd look back into the water. I'm like, what?
I look back, and perhaps there was some sort of trap that magically made him afraid. Will one of you guys fetch it?
You guys, you don't want to go down there. I'm telling you. There's water and some sort of tentacle thing and green eyes and nope. It's
Do
awful.
any of the 3 of you have a way to cure this irrational fear? That he's
I
having
do.
all of
Can
a
you make a
sudden?
second charisma saving throw for me,
Trent, come give me
Trent?
a hug.
And roll it extra small, please.
Okay, I'm gonna try my best.
Trent,
Listen
come
to the
give me a
DM.
hug.
Roll a 1. There you go. You rolled the
Yes,
same number.
7 again. There you go.
Oh, boy.
I'll take it. Trent,
There you go,
you
Jimmy.
take...
Oh no.
Oh shit.
He's just
Wait,
following
hey,
your
no, no,
directions.
no.
Don't
Don't
punish
give
the
him damage
boy.
stuff. You gotta give him story stuff. Come on.
Trent, you take...
You take mental retardation for
You see that Trent runs over for the doorway here, and you guys are trying to coerce him to turn around. He does for a moment, as though
Oh, there's that evocation you were worried about. It's
maybe
about to blast
something...
The fuck out of you.
Maybe something you guys can say will get him to join you. Maybe it's his nerves, or maybe it was a trap, some sort of latent effect. But Trent stops, he goes to protest, and then his arm spasms. The crutch falls from his hand. He crumples down to the ground and shakes for a moment. And then the shaking continues. And Trent, you fall back into this darkness, the sound of like distant bubbles moving up through some sort of darkened water column that you found yourself in. There, once again, the green eyes and the tentacles, they move closer to you, and a very loud, bassy voice emanates out through the water, and it's difficult to understand what it's saying. I'd like you to make a perception check, please.
Gonna take my 14 plus 5, so 19.
Ah.
doing all this shit.
Sincere.
I like story. I need to know.
You're not sure how. You've never heard the voice before, but something about it is familiar, and at the same time, somewhat terrifying and awesome. It says to you... What was the line again? Oh yeah, it says to you...
The road ends here.
No, it says...
Oh no.
I sense you, disruption. And the eyes move closer, and the tentacles warble up. And then it passes. Merton, as you've run over to Trent, you see him there on the ground. The crutches have fallen from his hands. He moves around like a man possessed, writhing on the floor. A small bit of white foam appears at the corner of his mouth, and then his eyes go conscious again. He seems like he's back.
Trent, what's
How much
happening?
damage did you say I take? Or did you not say anything?
13 psychic damage.
That may
Trent?
have been
What's happening?
more than a trap. What happened, Trent? Illyria, Zenkas, get away from the stairs.
Oh, okay.
Whatever grabbed Trent may affect you as well.
Sure.
I pull off the necklace and drop it on the ground next to him.
Okay.
Oh, did the necklace do this to him? I look at it. Are there any new messages?
What did they say?
You can grab the thing if you wish.
Don't
Sure.
touch it, please.
Oh, okay, I stop my hand before I grab it.
Massaging my head. The voice in the depths, creature, whatever it was, said, "I sense you disruption." And it was something familiar to me. I can't figure out who it was. I don't think I've actually heard the voice, but it was familiar. Does that make any sense?
Because the chat said there was a disruption. It's the person from the chat.
Yeah, exactly.
What color was that?
That was supposed to be green or purple.
I think it was Purple who sensed me, but oh man,
What did you say it was? Not a person?
it was. And I'll kind of describe that I saw like water all around me, and then from like the blackness of the water, I saw these two green eyes and these tentacles appear.
Would any of us have ever heard of a mind
There's
flare?
an octopus that's part of this thing?
No, it wasn't it was larger than that, and it was more.
I will
Yeah.
let anybody who has Arcana to roll and see if they can pick something up from that description.
What the hell have we gotten ourselves into? So they know now.
Uh-oh, that's a 2.
Oh, yes, that is a
Well done,
23.
Kay. Well done, Kay.
Yeah.
23.
Makes sense that I wouldn't be able to identify it. Considering.
Yeah, in the throes of all this psychic pain.
Wait. While this is happening, I tell Trent to hold still, and I'll lay on hands him for 13 points.
Nice. Okay. So you heal him up. Your headache, it's just this pulsing, sensation in your head here suddenly fades away. And with Zakul's touch there, you feel much better. As for you,
Nice.
Illyria, as you think on this description, something comes to mind. You were, if I remember correctly, what was your background in Soulsland exactly? What did you do there mostly? You had a family that was
I was a
a wealthy
jeweler.
set of jewelers, right? But what did you entertain yourself with?
A lot of schooling.
Right.
Like, a lot of just studying and reading and schooling.
She's a weirdo, so she read about
Yeah.
this.
You
I
were
love
a wizard, were you not?
Sorcerer.
A sorcerer. Okay. So, your time practicing your sorcery had you read some books here and there, perhaps not the same volumes that the wizards in the tower would read, but you definitely looked into those things to find out more about the magical world at large. And one of the interesting tomes that you had back in your day there in Soulsland was a encyclopedia on monsters and magical beings, a sort of fantastical tome that was terrifying as a kid and became very interesting as you kind of grew older. And one of the volumes, one of the passages, one of the pages or chapters that you ended up on a couple of times, one that you couldn't stomach as a child, but when you got older, you could read that sort of thing, was on the Great Old Ones. And this seems to match that description. They're terrible, sort of semi-deity arcane beings that are said to exist past the edge of the known universe.
Oh. I would like to relay that to everyone who's listening in my party. Not too sure if Trent can
Sure.
handle that.
How would Illyria say that kind of thing to the party, I guess?
So guys, you know how I love to read. So I was reading this book when I was little, I was terrified of all these monsters, but as I grew older, I just kind of sucked it up a little bit, but still. Anyway, long story short, there's like this book about these creatures who are like really amazing. I guess they're called great old ones.
Great old ones.
But they're like these like amazingly powerful, great things.
Well, now that we all know.
It's very descriptive of you.
Literally be your description.
We already knew there was powerful things behind these amulets, so
Well, if they're sensing Trent through
I thought it
this,
was
and-
people though, not monsters.
Well, they could have subscribed strong beings to their side, much like that Avatar death we saw. At the very least, we should destroy this thing.
She said great old ones, right?
Yes.
Would I know that's a like warlock pact. Would Jazzix have ever said anything about them? Like,
Oh, in
Is there
passing,
anything like-
I'll let you make a straight luck roll, Mr. Warlock. Cough, cough, Paladin
Wow.
Merton.
Paladin Merchant with the luck check.
Paladin.
Ooh, okay, it's not too bad.
12.
I'll give that to you,
Fine.
but not much. You have heard Jazzix mention them in passing. When you formed your pact with him, you guys talked a little bit about, what the powers would be that you would receive and whatnot, and he had mentioned that there are other beings that kind of formed this pact as well. He had name-dropped the Great Old Ones, and simply said that you're fortunate to deal with me, because there's nothing further from a mortal being than the Old Ones.
I know a little bit about these things, Illyria. They are sort of similar to what gives me my power, actually. So they're quite
Gods?
kind of
Gods. I don't.
similar, not the same.
Merton's mustache twitches nervously.
I'm gonna take out my coin purse and
Sure.
scoop up the necklace in it without touching the necklace.
Wait,
Okay.
wait. Should we not destroy the necklace?
I think we still need it.
Yeah, I think there's still knowledge to be gained here. Just maybe.
I think
not
if we hide it
very
away
much
and
of
they
the time.
start talking, they're going to be
Well,
saying important
Are they
things.
not tracking us through it? Are they not able to sense Trent?
They know where we
And
are.
attack him directly. Well, if they will always know where we are at any moment, that has different connotations from just knowing where we were.
Well, I mean, it's their communication. If we let them have that, I feel like that's more of a hindrance than if they know
If
where
what
we
you
are.
say about these being great old ones, as powerful as the deities that give you your power, do you really want to risk their ire and their ability to come after us, giving their overwhelming strength?
They already
just
are
to
coming
find-
after us.
Right,
Where have you
just to
been?
find out what. No. I mean, coming after us, knowing exactly where we are, even if we were to move, just
They've
for
already
the
found
chance
us
that they,
twice. This is the third time.
just for the chance that they are going to use a communication device that
No,
they know is
it's a cool-
compromised
It's a cool.
because they know we have it.
You're missing the point, Sakul. It's not so that we can learn about them, it's that they can't use it to communicate.
Yes.
If this is their preferred method of talking to each other, even if they know we have one, it's better that they can't talk to each other without risk of giving something away than to destroy it, which they would be aware of, and then have their communication source back.
Well, I can't say it's a good idea, but if you two want to do it, then
I'm fine switching off with the
Yeah.
Trent. If you don't want it,
no,
I
I'm
think-
saying I don't agree with this decision, but I'll go along with it.
well, I know you don't just agree, but Trent and I can carry it.
I can take
think
the
I'll
ring,
hold on.
Frodo.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I'll hold on to it for now, in this pouch. Maybe just check it like at nightfall or something instead of wearing it all the time.
Well, okay, at least we know what attacked you wasn't from where we are. Right?
Yeah. So let's.
I mean,
Does anybody know where my crutches
Black
are?
River was scared to come in here, right? Maybe they're all scared to come in here.
I'll
Maybe
go
this
get
is our one safe place for now.
Area.
We could always hope that the immortal King Tyrannus had something that could keep him at bay.
your crutches.
How'd they get all the way over there? Not that strong.
Well, you had quite a seizure there. You're spasming.
Jesus. Bella, bless me.
No.
Jesus would be one of Bella's famous disciples.
Jesus, actually.
Yeah,
Well,
as he is sometimes known.
Do you want to continue ahead then, Trent? Do you feel well enough to move?
I think it's our only path is down.
You okay, buddy?
Yeah, I think we should, maybe keep somebody close to me in case something happens while we're walking down.
Ooh, I can be your buddy.
I'll stay
Maybe
5 or 10
somebody
minutes.
stronger. No offense. I mean, you can help too. More people are always welcome.
No, it
Hug the
doesn't.
wall on the left-hand side. I wouldn't want you falling or stumbling.
Illyria,
forward.
come look at this book. And I'll hold out
No, I don't like your
Tessa's
books.
book.
Nope. It's bloody. I don't want it.
Jingle the keys. Jingle the keys.
I look through my bag and I pull out an identify pearl.
How'd you get that? Aren't you
Come
poor?
here.
Oh, no. How'd
If
you get
you
it?
walk next to me while we head down, I'll let you carry it.
It's a cool start going. We'll be
Yeah,
behind.
I'll be walking down the stairs already. Just making
Okay.
sure that Trent is somewhat against the wall as he's walking down. He doesn't
I'm
fall
having
into the middle
flashbacks to
somehow.
episode 1 where we walked down that staircase that was took 4 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hugging the wall the whole way down, staying as close to Zakul as I can.
Sure.
The
And
staircase is a lot nicer though.
I would like to play hopscotch down the fucking steps.
sure. Merton and Zencass, what are you guys doing? Are you guys following along?
Taking up the rear.
Okay.
What?
You're taking it up the rear?
This is the formation just going down the stairs.
I've been playing a lot of
Circles.
Varus lately, alright? Just
Jesus.
In the rear with the gear.
Gosh.
Okay. You guys start to travel down the staircase, putting Zakul in front, clustering the rest of you, and then Merton at the back there. You start to make your way down. Bit by bit, you pass along the different steps, move past torches as you go further and further in. The upper
Can I-
end is receding away as you guys go one story after another into the darkness. What's that, Trent?
Can I talk to Zenkus while we make our way down if there's nothing pressing going on?
Please do. Nothing seems to be happening.
Hey, Zenkus.
best to look at that amulet a lot, by the way, Trent, because they may be spamming messages. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, Zenkus. You know that thing you do where you kind of talk into my head?
Yes.
Does that let you hear what I'm thinking at all?
No.
Shit. Do you know anything that would let you do that? Does anyone know anything like that?
That would be in your arcane realm of study.
Yeah, that would be us, Trent. Kinda. No.
Do I know the spell detect thought solution? Do I know that exists? I'm pretty
Alright.
sure it's a wizard spell.
You can roll Arcana. If you get
Don't
a
let it
10
go.
or higher, you'll be aware it exists. 15 or higher, you'll know its particulars.
No!
That is a 10.
Okay, so you know it exists. That lets you basically read people's minds to a degree, but you don't actually know the particulars of the spell, like what its limitations are, or if it's like a perfect reading or not. But you know those kind of magics exist.
I mean, I know that there's a spell called Detect Thoughts that certain people know. Because I was thinking maybe if somebody had access to that, when I do check the amulet, they could, use that on me and sort of see what I see, maybe. I don't really know how these things work, but
Well,
These are a lot of pipe dreams that we could get in major cities such as Overwatch, just like the anti-scrying thing we were going there to look for. We don't have it now, though. It's just a nice thought to have, but immediately it won't be of any help, unfortunately.
well, when you cast detect magic on it, what type of magic was on it?
I think the amulet had a whole bunch of magics on it. I don't think it was a specific type, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yes.
I mean, namely, I would say there's probably some sort of divination on it, and evocation, I think, is what the spells that allow you to talk to people from far away are. I know there's a cantrip. Oh no, wait, that's transmutation. And transmutation, I know, is what most of the spells that let you talk far away are. There's a cantrip called Message that I've heard of before and seen used in the tower. So I'm sure that there's divination and transmutation on it, but I mean, there was all kinds of spells woven into this thing. Merton, do we look like we're getting close to the ground yet?
I'll look over the edge.
You see more than 100 stories descending down.
Depends on your definition of close there, Trent.
All right, I'm gonna hold up here for a second, Sakul. Do you mind coming back next to me for a minute here?
As like a player?
Sakul, can you just like step next to me while I do this, just in case something bad happens? And
Yeah.
Burton, you might want to get a little bit closer too.
Did you hear me, Illusion?
Mm-hmm. Well, I heard you just now. Did you say something
Yeah.
before?
I was asking if I could ask for like a 5-minute break here as a player.
I did not hear that at all. I'd be fine
Okay.
with that. Let's break for 5 minutes, folks. We'll be back in a moment.
I'll be right back.
See, feels explosive diarrhea coming.
It's good that he's made it away from the computer before
He
that
knows the
struck.
symptoms.
Jesus.
I'll take this moment to grab something. BRB.
Yeah, I'll go find some food then.
Yeah, I'm gonna use the amulet, and I just want everybody around in case I freak out, so I don't go flying into the pit.
I have more tacos to get.
Tacos. I had tacos tonight too.
I'm making tacos on Thursday.
That was my very first message when I joined right after Lucian opened it. It was like, BRB making tacos.
So, how many messages do you think I'm gonna come back to?
None.
Well, how long have we been venturing down the stairs? Just a minute or two?
I don't know how long we've been on the stairs. Ouch.
So are these just like constantly spiraling, no little plateaus, just steps all the way down?
I think that's how Alicia described it.
Okay.
That looks so painful, Jimmy.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Sorry about that.
It's all good. Pretty sure I'm being hosted by, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the name on stream.
I think we're just gonna call it Cthulhu for now.
Alright, I'm back.
I'm back.
No. Just keep naming it Cthulhu. We like
The info has kept flowing.
Sorry, Twitch. Sorry.
Sorry. I didn't actually say it, though, so I think we're good.
Well, we're on the wait
Everything good with Z?
screens, so they won't see the horrible racial expletive you just put in the chat.
H.P. Lovecraft was definitely not a racist.
Yeah, 100%. That little poem he wrote, that had nothing to do with anything.
The cat?
Oh, that too, yeah.
alright, we're safe.
Thanks, Z.
Wait, what did you write?
I'll message you at will.
Will was trying to get
grade
you to type it
name.
again.
What?
It's a great old one. Well, it's Cthulhu mythos, which not necessarily have anything to do with D&D, but
Is that his actual name?
that's one of them.
Yeah,
So you should be allowed to say it then.
there's a plethora of different great old ones. Well, see, that's the
Shub,
question,
Sorry,
right?
Pitchrath.
Can I... Whoa! Jeez. Sorry, Twitch.
Yeah, that is the question, Illusion.
Who knows?
Better to
May-
be safe than sorry.
We may never know. All I
If your
know
name
is
is
that...
Monica, can you not stream?
Who knows?
Monica.
Hey. Whoa.
Black people always call each other Monica. Are we all here and good to go?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Illusion,
Yes.
I'm sending you a picture in Discord. Is
Uh-oh.
it safe to say I saw something along the lines of like this? Although just a piece of it, not necessarily the whole thing.
Yeah, like the bottom 20% in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the creepiest fucking laugh I've ever heard.
Okay, well, we're good to go here. So we will return.
Yeah. That's real scary.
Okay. Standing on the steps, Trent, you call the rest of your group closer towards you. Zakul and Merton approach, and you reach for the small pouch. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna sit down the stairs first, just in case Cassidy's here.
Okay.
And
Flip yourself
I'm, gonna,
over the side.
I'm gonna pull out the amulet and focus in and try and see if there's any new messages.
You do not see any new messages.
Okay, instantly drop it back in the
Solid
purse. Pull it up, drop it
That's
in the bag.
that's not good.
Okay. You put it back into the bag.
Okay, sorry about that. Nope, there's nothing new on the message boards.
Wow. Let's continue down then.
I'd like to keep hopscotching down.
You might not want to jump so close to the edge.
I'm not scared of anything.
And that is how
Dexterity saving throw.
You will be.
and that's how Trent is now a proud owner.
Oh, are you being real, Lucian?
What? No,
No.
I'm just joking.
Shit, I was like, no, this is where I die.
Like
rolling
you
down 100 steps, going, and going.
picked feather fall.
Does not save you as you're no longer pretty.
Did you take the attractive feat twice?
4 times, actually.
So you continue down. I assume we've been traveling for
Okay.
a bit here. Or?
You guys keep going. You pass by 2 flights of stairs, 4 flights, 6 flights.
So cool, carry me, please.
Okay, me.
I shake my head at both, completely ignoring them as I continue
What?
pressing on, looking
Why?
ahead. You
Okay.
are perfectly capable carrying yourselves at the moment.
I would like to attempt to break my leg. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
You should know by now that I'm not capable of anything, Zakul.
Hmm?
I seem to remember for a brief moment in Ko where you tried to give me attitude of you being grown up. See you return to your old ways.
Ooh, Trent got an attitude problem.
I just like to be,
Attitude-y.
spur of the moment kind of life, Sometimes I feel like being an adult.
And sometimes you don't. I see.
Tell you what this walk could really use with, though, is that's some drugs. Anybody got any?
What, Trent?
Peace and quiet.
Considering your head was just, or your mind was just attacked, I don't think any
Yeah, I need an escape.
stimulants or psychedelics would be...
Need something to get me out of my mind. You know what I'm talking about? Expanding my horizons.
Trying to look towards Illyria, like, well, you're the expert here in actual healing. I just channeled the divine might.
Okay. I would like to cast Healing Word.
Oh,
First round.
No.
What? No. He was...
Nope, it has
You
to go
cast
through now.
Healing Word on Trent. Trent, you feel much better. But no
I mean,
drugs.
he was full health, so...
Oh, is he? I thought he took psychic damage.
I
You better be
healed him.
careful.
Really.
I could get addicted to that kind of healing.
That's too late. I already used it.
Oh, well. You two keep flirting, I suppose.
Ew.
Ew, gross.
Okay.
Zencast, can you make sure that Trent doesn't fall over?
Bye, Trent.
Don't help him or carry him, though. Looking at the halfling here, who's like half Trent size.
I'm pretty sure
The crutch is bigger than him.
Zenkus is having like as much trouble getting down the stairs as me, considering his
Yeah.
most recent injury.
Yeah, my most recent injury was less walking, was less movement speed.
Oh, right.
The
I
two of
forgot
us are
you've
like,
been knocked down a bunch of times, too.
we look like fucking lepers walking down
I've
this.
been knocked out more than Trent.
Now, how long will you guys go down the steps for?
I mean, are there any doors or any difference in the walls as we're
Nope.
going down?
Mm-mm.
We'll just
Are the walls
continue
still
descending.
like crystal? Like, can we still see out into them or no?
No, it's just rock. It's not like that upper room.
I
I
kind
turn
of wish we
towards-
were still upstairs.
Well, Merton, how much further do you see down? Is it endless?
I think it seems to be, but in the eyes of a dragon, it might not be so endless.
This could very well be the dreaded 100 flights of stairs that I've heard so
You
much
know,
about.
guys.
Oh, it's at
I'm
least
tempted
100.
to just jump over the ledge and see if I die.
You have Featherfall?
Nope.
Don't do that then.
I'm
Yeah,
tempted to
definitely
see if
said
you
to
would
see
die.
if I die.
Unless you have the ability to sprout wings, I don't quite recommend that.
Huh.
Well, if you did that, we might. You could scream the whole way and could find
Oh,
out.
I
how
can
deep
tell you
it
guys how
is.
far down it
I
is.
thought we were agreeing not to drop anything into the middle.
Oh, so you
Well,
don't want me
a
to
sacrifice
just throw a firebolt down there?
I think a bloodied, is it a half elf? I don't know what your actual race
Right,
is.
half elf.
Okay, a bloodied half elf laying at the bottom of your flight of stairs is not the most
So you
respectful
don't
thing.
want a firebolt down there?
Just keep walking.
Phew. I can
I
do
think
it.
we'll be okay. I am holding a torch, by the way, if it's fairly dark, or is it like all lit by some sconce?
Oh, I hope it's lit. 'cause I'm
There's
not
torches, like,
stopping
the whole
fuck
way.
down.
Yeah, there are torches that spiral down.
Okay.
You guys
I
travel
mean-
for a bit longer, and time passes, and eventually your stomachs start to grumble. There's no way to tell exactly what time it is down here, but it feels like lunchtime.
Time to take another break. whimsical.
We can take a break. It wouldn't be like your... Well, it's not your god, but it wouldn't be like this to just make an endless staircase, right? There's got to be an end.
Well, I mean, eventually you'll reach like the center of the world, which has to be.
Unless it's
Even-
magic,
Unless it's
and
like
you
a-
just keep walking down.
Yeah, unless it's a
There's-
magic trick.
Dragons
No.
are
If it's
generally
magic,
very
we wouldn't actually
practical.
be getting closer to the bottom. And I'll look up. Do I see torches above us?
You do. You see like 20, 30 flights above you.
See?
So,
Oh, so
while
we
we
haven't
might
even
not be the
gone.
most practical and
So,
sometimes
Firebolt
hubris
to the
and the
bottom.
very long staircase, it shouldn't be endless. There should
It's
be
just a-
purpose.
It's just a long staircase, guys.
Oh, are we all eating a ration right now?
Yes.
Valeria, I don't think your firebolt will even travel further than Merton can already see.
120. Alright. Okay.
You
If we
can see
wanted
about
to do
100
that,
feet or so.
we could just drop a lit torch down, but we agreed we wouldn't be doing that.
Are we eating our own rations?
We don't have to drop anything. We
Yeah.
just can keep walking.
What does it change if we know where the bottom is? We just need to get down there anyway.
We've only been walking for the morning, so we got hungry, so it's probably like lunchtime.
Turn it to the younger folks. Do you need a ration?
Oh,
I got
my
some.
own.
We walk all day outside without complaining. This is just, a different form of walking.
This is very good exercise for your calves, or your single calf there. Trent.
Oh,
You'll
that's
have-
really sad, Trent. You only have one.
Well, he has the
Illusion.
other. He's just not putting weight on it. We have not quite gone to the point of amputating yet.
Aleutian, when we got those materials from the Ink Lord ritual, were the incense sticks burnt at all, or were they like fresh incense sticks?
They were burnt on the ends, like the tips.
Okay.
If you need a stick of incense, I have fresh ones here. Pulling out like a box of incense. Because
No, I was just sort of looking through some of my stuff while we stopped here and remembered we had these things. And I'll pull out the little slab of dark metal.
Could I actually, if we're taking an actual like little short rest here, could I pull out my prayer book and holy symbol to Zoom and like try to commune and
Sure.
ask if great dragonly gods would any of the servants of Azun be willing to partake in knowledge on the dragon named Tyrannus. As we currently lie within his halls, we do not mean to disturb or offend him in any way.
I would like you to make a wisdom check, please, as you guys sit down to
Can't be
eat.
charisma. I am a paladin.
Sure.
I'm like, no.
Get
Doesn't
wrecked,
matter when you
kiddo.
roll
It's a,
Three.
it's a 6 anyway.
If
yeah.
you weren't a paladin, you would have rolled higher.
It's true
you-
enough.
Pause for a moment and call out to your gods. And after saying a couple of brief prayers and mantras, you throw your question out into the ether, hoping that it'll catch on something. But nothing comes. Unlike last time, where you were able to trade, I believe it was gems or gold, something in return for your armor, this time there's no response from the other side.
I shrug to my team, my party members. I suppose it makes sense. There's no reason to partake information to me. I need to prove my worth on my own.
Oh, is that what you were doing? It kind of looked like you had to go to the bathroom. No,
Maybe he's just busy.
Well, I could also do that too. I pull out a chamber pot. I'm just kidding.
Is anybody doing anything during the short rest while you guys eat?
Sleeping.
I'd probably be like fooling around with the little bits of broken whispering orb.
Sure.
Well, if he tried to talk to his god, maybe I can try to ask Jazix about this strange creature that I've heard is a great old one that I know he knows about.
Sure. You can roll
Okay.
charisma.
Can I see
So-
that?
Yeah, sure. I'll pass over the bag full of whispering orb.
The threes are everywhere today.
Can I try to?
He's off
bending it?
watching someone getting tortured.
Get wrecked. Yep.
Not a day for charisma saves
It's
or
not.
charisma rolls.
Can I try to use mending on the orb or no?
You could try.
Cool. Use mending on this shattered.
Casting mending on the orb, you're able to reform some of the pieces. Little bits of glass you're able to form into slightly larger ones, but you're not actually able to put the whole thing back together. You're not sure what's wrong with it. You've reduced the amount of dust and particulate there is, but something's wrong. You're unable to reforge the thing.
Huh. Strange. Okay, here you go, Trip.
Thanks.
Hmm?
I mean, it's a little bit better.
Yeah. Maybe if we get to a proper town, I can melt it down and make it into a rope for you.
I'm gonna take 2 pieces that are like roughly like maybe 2 inches or so across and hold them up over my eyes and sort of look around like the glasses,
Sure.
just to see if I make Illyria laugh. And I'll probably put it away.
Nope.
Unlike Paladin Merton, and they call this not flirting.
It doesn't matter what they call it.
In dragon culture, they would be married now. Just kidding.
Ew!
It's like my sister, dude.
Seriously. It's like my annoying brother.
Well, if you guys have enough energy to joke around, I think we're ready to move.
Okay.
Hey, I still got like half my my ration left here, man.
Very true.
I'll gulp it down as fast as I can.
Gulp it
Can
down.
I just start
then.
eating mine while we're walking? We're
Sure.
finishing it.
You guys eat for the day. After spending half an hour to pause on the steps, you begin your descent into wherever it is that this goes. If anybody is rolling HP, they're more than welcome to do so. But as you guys go down the steps, more and more flights are placed above you, and hopefully less and less below you. Things go on for a little while. An hour of walking along the steps passes. 2 hours pass. Soon, you're in a massive column. All the way down, you can't see where the end is, and looking all the way back up, you don't even think you can tell where the top room is anymore.
How cold is it being this far underground?
It is chilly, but not to the point that you guys are, like, shivering or anything.
I'll wrap my magical clothes a little bit tighter around myself.
Mm-hmm.
Should
Have
be
you
more
checked
worried
the
if it's not
amulet
getting warmer.
recently, Trent?
I'll reach a hand into the purse and touch it briefly, gazing at the message board.
There are no new messages.
Release it instantly and turn back, shake my head.
Kind of worrying.
Well, like you guys said, they're not using it because they know it's compromised.
Yep.
Perhaps it's a good sign that we don't see anymore. It means what you were attempting to do is working.
Well, we're making progress on this staircase. There's got to
At
be
the end of
something in
this-
here. It was significant to
Anybody
them.
know a good traveling tune?
Got a lot of
Yes.
charisma, people. Could
Oh, maybe Zakul, why don't you sing us one of your God's hymns? I haven't heard a song sung in Draconic, though I speak it, so it'd be interesting.
As a player, I'm not going to be able to do this. So, if you want me to roll performance or something, I'll be happy to. But
Sure.
I'm not going to even attempt to do a hymn here.
Roll performance.
Why not?
Oh, yes!
That is a modded 20.
Okay. Loudly and hitting all the notes, especially the particularly metal ones, Zakul goes through a version of one of Bon Jovi's classics while you guys are traveling down the steps. You guys are given the impression that you really need to hold on to what you've got.
Wow. That is,
It
that's
doesn't
so
make a
meaningful,
difference if we
given-
make it or not.
Sorry.
Hopefully,
Given
with,
what your God is about, that must be a very powerful hymn in your
We've got each other.
At least we're halfway there.
That's a lot.
For Dragonborn.
I had no idea that followers of Zoom were so.
I know how to sing, that's for sure.
Yeah, musically gifted. It's incredible.
Time travels. An hour goes by, another hour, and eventually you guys are feeling sleepy. And it dawns on you that you guys have been traveling down these steps for hours and hours and have not reached the bottom. And looking back up, the climb looks like it would take forever.
Going upstairs is definitely harder than going down.
At this point, I don't want to go up just because I don't want to go up.
I don't think your quads will be able to handle it. Looking over at Trent.
Little do you know, this staircase has claimed the lives of more lazy people than you could possibly imagine.
But
You've gone too far.
We're
I
gonna
do feel
pass
like-
another group of adventurers' bodies just like on the stairs. We're like, I wonder which direction they were going.
I do
We just have
feel
a
that
little
we
notebook that says we ran out of food. We've taken to eating the gnome.
It was delicious.
It's delicious. The end.
well, we've traveled all day, possibly through the evening. We may have to set camp on these stairs.
Are these stairs big enough to even lay down on, like one person to a stair?
You can at the corner of the corner of the turn. So if you place somebody at one corner or maybe two, and then a couple two at the next,
God.
that kind of thing, then yeah, you can.
So we're all going to be like 20 feet apart, or
Yeah.
30 feet apart at least.
Do you guys wish to rest? It's getting late. At least it feels that way.
It's
Well-
probably nighttime. We've walked a lot. Did you guys go for a sleep?
We have no guarantee that we'll reach the end within a few more flights, and
Why
we
don't you
don't want to
look
be
over?
exhausted.
See if you can see the bottom before we call it. I
look
don't trust
see
myself
if I
to
can
not
see the
roll.
bottom.
Merton,
I assume there's
you-
handrails or something.
there are none.
There's no hiding.
Oh shit!
Merton, you kneel close to the ground and look over the side there, and once again see the spiraling torches that just go further and further into the earth. You see what looks like maybe 50 or 100 flights that go further down. You might as well
Just,
be where you were at the top.
I'll just sit back and be like, get some rest.
Well, I happen to be at this corner right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull out my sleeping room.
Okay. Are you guys gonna sleep here? Get a long rest?
Keep your gear towards the hole for the night when you lay your bedroll down. Prevent yourself from rolling in.
Perhaps
I'll take the
instead of
furthest one.
watch for enemies, maybe someone watches for people rolling off the side.
Does anybody have pittance by any chance?
Oh my god, I was muted this whole time. Fuck.
I had pittons if you want to
I was like,
scream.
can I
Can I
take the
borrow a
first
couple
watch?
of them?
Sure. I'll drive them in for you. Is this like dirt ground or is this like hard stuff that we can?
No, it's a stone staircase.
Okay, so I will be able to drive in pittons with a hammer. And I
Can you
step
put
over
a
to
couple in
try-
the wall right here and right here so I can tie myself to it?
Sure, I'll even give you the rope, and I'll pull out my hammer and two pittons.
Okay.
Kind of like give them a harness here.
Sure. You try to affix these. However, Zakul, the very moment where you hit the first piton into the rock wall, the piton shatters with a loud and echoing clang that just goes echoing up and down the column here. The piton is reduced to fragments of metal. It splinters apart into like 10 pieces when you hit it with the hammer
Oh.
into the wall.
I was gonna say, that might be disrespectful, hammering stuff into the.
Well, either that or the walls are made of something far more magical than we assumed it to be. Well,
Yeah.
no matter. At the very least, keep your gear packed down on this side. It might, help in preventing you from rolling off. And I point towards putting his gear on this side while his bed
I
rolls.
mean, I don't know about you guys, but I generally don't roll like 20 feet when I'm sleeping. So
Well, neither do I, but I've seen Trent end up on the other side of the bed upside down. hanging off the edge.
Doing
I tend
head
to roll a
spins.
lot. It's actually kind of interesting to watch if you ever get a chance, Martin.
Can I cast Dispel Magic? Just for taking a rest anyway.
Sure. Let me see something real quick. Just have to check something.
It's okay.
Dispel magic. Choose one creature, object, or magical effect within range, please.
The stairs.
Stairs. Okay. You go ahead and cast Dispel Magic, and I'd like you to make an Arcana roll, please.
It was a fucking endless loop. Oh my god.
Oh, +4 is a 15.
Okay. You cast the spell, and as you do so, you're certain that you've, dotted your I's and crossed your T's. Everything is as it should be, but when you finish it, nothing happens. No, it's worse than that. Your spell fizzles out, and instead of completing, it's actually negated. You don't know if you're in a null magic field or something more sinister, but nothing comes of your spell.
I'm instantly going to run up to my group and explain that.
Can I make an Arcana check to see if I know what that means?
Sure. Yeah, I'd say
24.
you know.
Didn't your spell of healing earlier work? Perhaps
Yeah,
it's
we've
just
been
the-
using magic. I'm pretty sure you just weren't concentrating hard enough.
Really?
Maybe,
I wasn't
maybe it's
concentrating
just
hard
the
enough?
arcane that is being limited here.
I'll go ahead and cast one of my spells. I'll use Melf's Minute Meteors
Okay.
and summon them around me here.
They actually show up, and the little meteors float around you.
I think with the spell that you were using, the Dispel Magic spell, it's a common pitfall when you're trying to get rid of higher magics that they can be more tricky to get rid of. And if you're, using our level of magic, and Tyrannus was, this great and powerful creature, his magic might be stronger.
Well, I don't
You
want
might
to be
have-
on these stairs forever.
Well, why don't you try again? Just
Okay, fine.
remember that you really need to harness in. Do
I
you have
would
anything
like-
that can buff yourself?
Harness in, cast guidance, cast it again.
Okay. You cast Dispel Magic a second time, and this time it happens again. You do the spell perfectly, and it fizzles out.
Well, perhaps the difference in magic between a dragon and a mere half-elf is much larger than you're making it sound. And I'm not talking about Dragonborn, I'm talking about a full-grown dragon that basically trivialized the entire kingdoms. Decided to cast itself away
First
from
watch.
the world.
Um,
You're taking first watches?
Yeah, and I'm gonna walk up and down the
Okay.
steps, make sure nobody rolls off.
Okay.
do I
Do you?
it says for Melf's Minute Meteors illusion, it says it has to be within a point 120 feet of me. Okay, never mind. This is really strange wording, actually. Can you look at Melf's Minute Meteors for me, illusion?
Certainly. I've got it.
The wording of the spell says, the third sentence, when you cast the spell with bonus action, blah, 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 sending them streaking toward a point or points you choose within 120 feet. Once a meteor reaches its destination or impacts. Okay, so it would explode at 120 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Would you like to shoot some meteors around?
Well, I figure this chasm is way more than the 10-foot diameter of the explosion.
Mhm.
I'll let everybody kind of look over the edge, and I'll one by one throw them down to different areas where they're not going to hit any of the walls or anything. and just explode them for the fire and light around the area.
Sure. You shoot these into random spots, little meteors that fly out like firebolts. They burst into flame afterwards, giving a brief pocket of light in that area. Nothing else seems to happen, however.
Well, at least you guys can be assured your arcane magics will work if we get in combat here.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that whatever this is, it's going to require more than just walking down.
Well, we could try resting first. We are exhausted. Fresh minds may have a better perspective.
I'll take the first watch with Illyria.
Okay, I will take the second with Senkas then. Merchant, are you okay with taking the third watch alone?
I am.
There's 4 watches.
How's it 4? My bad. I will take the second watch. Senkas will take the third. Burton will take the fourth, I guess.
That's fine.
You guys lay down for the evening. After a brief test using different magics, it seems like it's time to finally get some rest, and nuzzling into different parts of the stairwell, you guys find flat spots that make for good bedroll locations. Laying down.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were done.
Go ahead.
Sure. As everybody else settles in, I'll call Illyria over to me and I'll pull out that pearl.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna. What were you focusing on when you were trying to dispel magic?
The steps? You know?
Okay.
Maybe it's the torches. I don't know.
I'm gonna set up a ritual for identify and touch the stairs and see if there's any magic acting on them.
Oh, okay. It's late at night. People are starting to settle into their different spots and getting ready for bed. And over there, the two of you are kind of waiting on something else. Or 3 of you, maybe.
No, I moved Zenkus over there because if he's sleeping, he should be like in the corner.
Okay. When you finish your little ritual there, however, you reach down and touch the steps, and something peculiar happens, Trent. You feel the spell fail.
That's never happened to me before.
See? I told you. Isn't it weird?
In all my studies, have I heard anything like this, Lucian? Magic that repels things like dispel magic or identify?
Make an Arcana check, please.
Huzzah!
Got this.
It's a 19.
You have heard of such magics. They are the kind of thing that only legendary figures have been said to have mustered up, and beyond that, those who have kind of come before current civilizations. There are reports of ruins per se, or old items that are able to act in ways that repulse magic or cause it to fail. It could be that you're dealing with something like that right now. You can't be certain. You don't have any knowledge of like a staircase in particular, but items like that and places and things certainly have been reported in the magical world.
And from what I know about them,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are like legendary magical things, so I don't know if I could know what sort of effects, but I've ever heard of like a magic so powerful that it's like nothing you can do if you've been trapped within it or something like that.
I would say, having been in Soulsland, you've definitely heard of such things. And people speak of magics that are so powerful that, once they've enacted upon you, it's over. Nothing as far as resistance can be thrown up. one of the things that comes to mind, probably one of the most popular examples that's mentioned, is the legendary Deck of Many Things and its Donjon spell, right? Which basically throws somebody into another dimension, and that's it. It's over, right? And there's nothing that they can do at that point. And you would, definitely have heard about that.
Would I have heard of, if I've heard of a Deck of Many Things, would I have heard of, like, the power word spells where there's, like, no save or anything? It's just, like...
Yeah. Yeah, you'd know that those exist. Those are probably, like, the biggest rumors and,
Yeah, nobody can actually cast them, but
Exactly.
the spells exist for them. Okay, Illyria, we might be screwed here.
What do you mean?
And I'll describe to her that there are magics that you don't get a chance to come back from.
Well, Trent, if I die on some steps, I would rather throw myself off the edge and die first.
Well, don't do that. We should at least try and get out of this. This is bad news.
Yeah. Well, who wants to be the one to break the news to them?
I've been traveling with them for a while. I feel like I should probably do it.
Cool.
Nobody wants to be the messenger of bad news.
Nope.
Merton just shanks Trent to death.
You fucking idiot! Why did you bring us here?
I think it was my idea.
I meant more just like out to find Black River in general. You were already in Hillcrest, which is where you needed to be. For the rest of my watch, I'll just sort of post up against the wall and keep an eye on the two groups of sleeping people, make sure nobody starts to fall.
Yeah, I'm just gonna walk up and down patrolling.
Does anybody do anything during their watch?
Oh, I would, at the end of my watch, I would,
Silently.
Zakul's the next up.
Mhm.
I would sit down with Zakul
Sure.
and tell him we might have fucked up. There's magic that you can't break or get out of once it's enacted on you. It's legendary stuff like the Deck of Many Things or like the most powerful magic that exists. And given the amount of power that we know Tyrannus has, it's possible that we might have fallen for a trap.
Well, if that were the case, then, like you said, it's already too late, and we will have to leave it to that. But I am inclined to believe we are not quite so far gone. If we have a chance, we should continue to take it, continue further down. We may be able to find something. If this is the end, like you said, we are just ants. Well, the gods have done something to us that forsaken us today.
Let's, can you share this with Zenkus when you wake him up and have him do the same with Burton?
Of course.
So they're aware. Thanks.
Get some rest.
Go over to my corner and
One
try
by
and sleep.
one, you guys lay down to get some sleep.
I'll do an interesting thing during my rest that might amount to something.
Sure. Merton,
So-
your rest comes about, and the person who wakes you up gives you the news. What do you want to do?
I probably wouldn't be too worried. I'd say something like, yeah, we're here now, and I think there's something important here. That's why these people were talking about it. They were scared of it. It's possible that it's a trap, but I feel like, why would someone make a temple just to trap people? It just doesn't really add up. We'll see tomorrow morning. But while I'm watching, I'll kind of like be over to the side of by the hole. And I'll have like my scimitar, and I'll just like drop it, because if it can be away from me for a minute, and then it appears back in my hand, so it could fall for an entire minute
I see.
before it would appear back to me. So it wouldn't be like damaging anything or littering, because it would just come right back.
Interesting.
So if it would hit something in the minute, that would be good. Oh, if it's still a minute falling and nothing happens, I'd be like, well, shit, that's a long way.
It's your time for the watch. You hear the news, digest it, and let everybody go to sleep. On your watch, you have a small experiment that you want to run. And leaning over the edge, you take your scimitar and let go of the thing. It tumbles, passing by different stairwells as it goes, just descending into the column. It's very difficult to see, but there is enough light from the torches that its little glimmer can still be visible as it descends and descends and descends. With a minute, it's likely to go rather far. However, the very moment that it leaves your view, and you can no longer see it, it reappears next to you into your hand.
Oh, fuck, Jimmy.
For flavor, I'll probably just do that for like the rest of my watch. Just like
Sure.
drop it and catch it, just like pondering over what that could mean.
Reliably, the test repeats itself whenever you can no longer see it, and it passes by that threshold of maybe 100 stories down. Who knows exactly? It reappears as though it's passed some sort of barrier, or maybe reached the end. Interesting, though, as you've conducted the experiment more than once, you count down in your head, counting the seconds, and by the third or fourth time that you've finished the thing, you know that the sword returns to you before the minute is up. Something is happening here. Do you do anything before your watch finishes and everybody wakes?
Gather my thoughts and like be ready to deliver, some news to the people in the morning.
Sure.
That maybe they'll know more about what that could mean.
A new day comes around. You guys wake. You're feeling rested, but when you open your eyes, there you are again in that same stairwell. It's not exactly a great sight to wake up to, but at least you're alive. What do you guys want to do?
Did I have any great old one nightmares?
Let me roll here.
Speaking of which, check your messages while we eat breakfast here.
Yeah, check your messages and you guys stand over here. All right, I'll hand whoever's willing to take it my scimitar.
me.
Here, Illyria, hold this, and everyone start counting. Okay, just count up. You
Is
guys
this some
start.
sort of game?
No, it's not a game. You'll see. Just count to like 60. Okay,
Sure.
and I'll step like 15 feet away. It has to be 5 feet at least.
Sure.
So when they count to a minute, I'll it'll appear back, and I'll explain to them that happens automatically after 60 seconds, like you counted. And then I'll say, now start counting again. And when they start counting again, I'll drop it off the edge, and it'll probably appear back in my hand after like 5 seconds instead of like a whole minute.
You guys notice that Merton is indeed right. As the sword disappears from view, it reappears to him, not after the minute that's elapsed. You're not exactly sure what magic is at work here, but the two tests don't seem to be equal.
How many seconds did it fall? About? Like roughly?
The time it would take for a sword to fall about 100 stories.
Okay.
Nowhere near a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I can't
7
tell you the
seconds.
exact math,
So,
as my
like-
calculus
I don't know the
skills are
exact
weak,
math.
but yeah.
it's like 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not long at all.
Hmm.
I didn't
I
bring
think you
that.
fall like 600 feet or something in 6 seconds, because that's something I checked for D&D before.
I have no
Pretty
idea.
fucking terrifying.
Yeah, so I didn't bring the sword back to me either time. It comes back automatically either when it's it's supposed to be a minute. There's not supposed to be another limiter, so it must be
This is very
disappearing
concerning.
or being destroyed or something after once it hits the darkness. It's once it hits out of my view, which isn't how it should work. it should just be a minute. So something is happening out of our view down there. Out of my view, something is happening.
This does give alarming
So-
support to Illyria and Trent's
So should I
concerns
jump
last
down?
night.
We'll see. I think he would die because even if my sword got, well, unless it's like another dimension, because I don't know if it goes across dimensions.
Well, it could go either way. Checking from how the pin was disintegrated last night, it could disintegrate you when you hit that darkness. While continuing down the stairs,
It could be, which is the original thought I had was because I couldn't see it, it was out of our view, something happened. So I was like, originally thought, oh, well, if we jumped or something, like we would still be able to see 120 feet. So like, but that could put us in an endless fall, or, there's a lot of things that could go wrong.
You guys want to tie me to a rope and lower me down?
We don't have that much rope.
I
Oh,
have
You do
a
not
better
have 100 stories worth of rope.
Yeah.
right.
Also, to answer your question, Trent, you did have kind of a related dream. You dreamt that you were on a sailboat, and you're standing there as the wind went by. It was a beautiful sunny day, and at some point you stepped over towards the edge and kind of looked over the side, and you fell into the water and splooshed into it and immediately started panicking. When you looked over behind your shoulder, you saw what looked like a fin that was approaching through the water, and you tried to scramble onto the ship, but without any rope ladder, there's nothing to do so. For a moment, you fall underneath the water's threshold. There, submerged, you turn over, see a shark that's approaching rapidly, and woke up.
Okay. As long as I didn't see the old ones,
You did not.
I'm still gonna probably have severe trauma about ever going on water. Ever.
Something
But,
I am curious about is if, someone stayed up here, someone else went down past the vision, what would happen? That would be like an all-day experiment. But maybe thinking about what would happen could jog some ideas. I'm not sure.
While they're discussing that, I'll check the amulet briefly.
You grab a hold of the amulet, and when you do, you notice something's different. Messages flash in front of your eyes. You see 5 messages that are there. Unlike before, where there was quite the cluster, and it would display up to maybe 10 until a new one displaced an old one, this time you'll only see a few. You're not sure exactly what's happening there. The messages are as follows. The first one is written by Red, and it says exactly this. If we have to, then I'll send some forces. Wait till I'm done. Afterwards, White says, Amulet silence until we hear from Red. Blue says understood, Orange says yes, and Gray says understood as well. And then it ends. There's no more messages after that.
Is there any chance we can get that transcript in the Discord thing?
Absolutely.
I was like, I'm about to type this, but that's a lot.
Yeah, I started typing it, which is why I muted there. But
I will put it into the fitting episode 2 discussion. You guys can add it to your Google Docs and all that if you wish.
Okay, well, what do you see? Your eyebrows are furrowed.
there's new messages, guys, and all the old ones are gone. I don't know if somebody has a clear history button, or if it's just been a while. We might have skipped time here.
It's probably been a while.
But it seems like they know, and they're going into amulet silence until we've been dealt with. They
Yeah, we
also
might
kind
have-
of said something a little bit worrisome, saying if needed, they'll send forces.
Well,
Should
we
I-
might not need to because we might have offed ourselves by ourselves.
That's stepping into Tyrannus' halls. But
Just so
Should we
tempted
try
to
and-
jump down, to be honest.
well, the amulet itself is
Jumping is
conservative.
definitely the last.
yes. I don't believe a leap of faith is something we should try now. Perhaps instead of just descending the stairs, we should keep an eye out for something like that switch you originally found to open the door, or some sort of assisted handle. Maybe there are some ways for those in the know, followers or worshippers of Tyrannus, or people who helped build this temple, to get out of this trap. Something that we're missing here as we're going down. Maybe hidden, but
We're obviously missing something.
Yeah.
probably
I mean,
run your hand over the wall as we walk and look closer at the stairs. Do any of you think we should ascend for a little bit, or just continue descending?
I think it may be time to skip politeness and see, drop a torch because nothing we've dropped has been lit.
Sure.
Light could be a valuable.
I'll pull the torch out and just spark it against the tinder
Sure.
box and chuck it into the middle.
The thing.
Can I try pulling one of the torches off the wall? Sorry.
Sure, yeah, you can try that. The torches in the wall are fixed there, but if you want to force it, you can certainly try to pull them out.
Oh, I would like to try.
Okay, make a strength check for me.
Wait, what happened to the torch I threw?
I'll tell you about that in a second.
Okay.
those are my important rolls, by the way.
The 15.
Oh yeah, did we do injury recovery roll for Mr. Blind?
If you did not, please
Yes.
do. The night's rest has passed.
Did my wand regain charges?
It feels like it. Now, as you go ahead and grab for the torch, what was your roll there for strength?
15.
You're able to pull one out. The little bottom portion of it breaks, as though maybe it was like affixed there. But you pull out a torch just fine.
Oh, okay.
Now, meanwhile, Zakul, you go ahead and drop your torch down, and it goes tumbling and tumbling and tumbling. And it passes by different stories, one after the other, until, much like Merton's sword, it passes from view. Unlike Merton's sword, it does not appear next to you. It simply disappears, and it's gone.
If I look up, is there a torch falling from above?
No.
Okay. Okay, I turned towards Illyria, and is there anything special about that torch? Notice she took it from the wall.
Can I examine it?
It looks like a normal torch. Its wood is clearly aged, and the flame that burns on it seems normal enough.
No, just a plain torch. Can I throw it down the pit?
Sure. You
Illusion, is
toss.
this close enough to our long rest that I could take time to change my prepared spells?
Please do. You go ahead and take this torch you've just acquired. You throw it down, and much like Zakul's torch, it disappears from view. But the moment that it does, something happens. There's a light from behind you. You turn around and find that the sconce there has the torch in it again.
Oh.
It doesn't
Kinda
look
cool.
damaged either. It's perfectly sitting there, like you hadn't even disturbed it at all.
Curious. The space is repairing itself. Do you two know anything about
Would I know anything?
magical things that keep
Studying.
things in the same state?
Illyria, I'd say you know that there's magic out there that can regenerate things. That would be common to both of you practitioners, but you're not really sure what's going on here.
This is a bit beyond the simple reparation.
You know that... I would say without need for a roll, Illyria, you would know that illusions don't behave like this, so there's no way that the torch was fake. Like, you were able to hold it into your hand. What on earth just happened to have it reappear behind you? You have no idea.
No, we encountered something like this when we were in Death's Chambers, that hourglass. And it was very real, but it kept coming back.
Too true.
Oh. Interesting.
I'm gonna go ahead, having changed my spells around here, and not bothering with the ritual. I'll make sure everybody is ready to move, and I'm gonna suggest, guys, I've changed my my magic up a bit for the day, so I can use my magic detection more frequently, and I think perhaps if we walk, I'll be able to keep it up for maybe a little under an hour. And if this is repeating, hopefully, if there's an exit, we'll pass by it over the course of that hour.
Okay.
But I don't want to start my magic until everyone's ready to get on the move.
Could I pull out another torch, light it, and stick it into like the space between one of the already affixed torches to make it
Like pull one out and then put your own torch there?
No. Like put it into the space like that's behind it, so it's just like sitting there, so I would know it's like as a mark.
Oh, sure, yeah, you could do that to try and keep track of like what floor you guys were on, sort of thing. Sure, yeah, you do that. You take one of your torches and put it by another one.
Well, whenever you're ready, then Trent.
All right. As soon as we're ready to be on the move, I'm going to cast Detect Magic, and then just keep concentrating on that for the duration of 10 minutes.
Trent, when you finish casting Detect Magic, your senses are assailed by magical sources of different kinds that you cannot read from every direction. It hits you like a wall of 360 white noise pounding in on you. It's not enough to deal damage, but it's incredibly uncomfortable. Beyond that, it's disorienting. You find that it's difficult to tell which way is like up or down. Have you ever table talk, have you ever laid down to sleep one night, maybe as a kid, and you closed your eyes and you felt like you were rotating, but you knew that you were just laying there?
Vertigo?
Yeah, it's like that.
I'll sort of reach out to whoever's closest to me, Zenkas or Illyria, and put like a hand on them. I'm assuming I'm like blinded here, like unable to see.
You can see, but it's just that these magical sensors are all going off. It's kind of like having like a sixth sense, but it's being overstimulated.
Okay. Here's what I want to do, Illusion, and you tell me if I'm able to do so.
Sure.
Given the balance of magic, I want to try and start siphoning off schools of magic, like not picking them up. I want to drop like necromancy first of all, and
yeah, you can make an Arcana roll.
conjuration.
I'll let you try that.
Let's say 20 Arcana check.
Ooh. What's the one you start with?
Necromancy would be the first one I drop, because I don't think a doorway would have anything to do with necromancy.
Okay. You try to pay less attention to certain sources of magic, and as you do so, you're able to remove necromancy. And as you just try and focus on anything but that, you're able to feel that there is indeed none of that around you.
Okay. Is there going to be a check for each school that I want to drop?
Possibly. What's the next one you're looking at?
Okay, so do you mind if I pull up a list of schools of magic?
Please do. Your character would know those anyway.
Yeah. The next one that I would drop, seeing that necromancy was like the clear one that's not here, I think I would choose one that I think might be here, but I don't think would have to do with a doorway. I'm going to try and drop abjuration next.
Oh, okay. You try to single out abjuration from all of this white noise that's hitting you, and as you try to filter it out, you can't. You realize that there must be abjuration within all the signals that you're receiving.
Okay, so all of them have a piece of abjuration in them or something like that?
Yeah. Now, as far as location goes, you have no idea, but there's some sort of abjuration around you. You're certain of it.
Okay. Next.
we'll go back to an easy one here.
Yeah.
I'll try and siphon off divination from the schools that I'm focusing on.
Sure, make another roll, please. Same, Arcana. If you get a 15, then we keep going. Ooh,
It's a 24.
very good. Divination, you said?
Mm-hmm.
You can feel divination there.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
Okay.
This is like the CSI enhance! And from
just
one
gonna,
pixel, you get the whole fucking license
The
plate.
license
It's him!
without saying anything and probably writing in script that wouldn't be legible to anybody other than maybe myself, I'm gonna
Sure.
pull out like a book or parchment and just start like blindly sketching things and like writing down like all over the place, like, you know, mad scribblings of stuff like
Yeah, Trent goes like mad
no
prophet with his
necromancy,
eyes glowing.
abjuration everywhere. There's some sort of divination here.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so the next one that I think I would go to, and this one I want to sort of do like an opposite thing of what I've been doing. I want to focus in and try and see if I can single this one out, like to keep it there instead of like not focusing on it.
Interesting.
I want to see if I can siphon through all this and see anything of conjuration magic.
I would say you feel that there is conjuration magic around you. And that's all
Okay.
you can feel. You know
It's
that
just, like,
that's around
around me?
you. Yeah.
Okay. And then the last one, because I don't want to do this forever, I'm just gonna see if I get any sense of enchantment, because enchantment has to do with like messing with minds.
Sure.
So I'm gonna see if there's any enchantment going on here.
Roll again, please. Arcana.
Oh, that's a
Oh,
12.
rip. Well, it was janked, but
Oh yeah, it was slightly janked, but I mean it was basically a 5.
it was majorly janked.
You try and single out enchantment, and this time you can't tell if you feel any or not. Perhaps most worrying of all, you don't know if your mind is being played with here or if something very real is occurring.
Okay. I'll seeing that I can't really function this way, I'll drop concentration on the spell, probably like sweating profusely.
Sure, yeah, you can, like, you realize you're kind of leaning at an awkward angle when you come out of it and, you know, fix yourself up.
I'll look down at whatever this drawing and writings I just did on this paper are. Probably a little worried about my sanity.
Sure. At least you didn't see the great old one.
Look, Trent, if there's all this magic being forced upon us, you may have given me our key when we entered, and I'll hand him back the counter spell beads.
Okay.
You know more about them than I do.
The problem, I think, is that as far as I'm aware, and DM, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I'm aware, Counterspell works very similarly to Dispel Magic. And if Illyria's spell was not successful in breaking us free, then I'm afraid that Counterspell won't do anything else. Plus, as far as I know, Counterspell is more at the onset of magic, and it's not as useful at breaking out of it.
Well,
If I could,
it's
I do
another
have one
thought.
more trick up my sleeve, and literally from my sleeve, I'll slide out the Wand of Secrets.
Oh, balls.
Oh, ball.
I was hoping that Detect Magic could let me know when we were close to the source or the exit, and then I could use this to pinpoint it.
I think we've been here the whole time.
Okay, and I'll say whatever the key phrase for this Wand of Secrets to go off and give it a flourish. Swish and flick.
Sure.
Swish and click the shit out of your wand.
Trent the Crypt gives his wand the dip, and there you see
There you see Aleutian's sick rhyming skills.
unrivaled. Get at me, rap game. There's a set of green sparkles that emanate out from him. Again, you see this just like when the door was revealed. Instead, the green particles move out, and then almost like they've gained a sentience, they start to swirl together and they move around. It's like watching a wind blow some sort of like a group of leaves as they sort of show the currents that they're being swept up in, and they circle around and then sort of move towards the center of the column, passing away from the steps. They go towards the center, and something miraculous occurs. A floor begins to appear. The wand shakes in your hand, Trent, almost like it's being strained. You even think that you hear like a crack of wood, but luckily the thing survives. And there, at the next flight of steps, you see what looks like an actual floor that comes into being. No longer over the side of the steps do you see like a drop off of 100 stories that goes down forever. Instead, it's just a stone floor, and at its very center, there's a small raised stone platform, and halfway into it is what looks to be a perfectly dark, starry orb. The orb is so large that its sphere is probably about 15 feet from one end to the other, and like a completely dark abyss, light that strikes it coming from the torches doesn't really bounce off, almost like it's passing into some other world. Yet, you see what looks like sparkles that kind of come from the darkness. The whole orb warbles there, and now that it's been revealed to you, you can hear and practically feel a sort of low tone, like a whoa, whoa, that kind of comes out from it constantly at a low drone.
I think Trent's initial reaction, as strange as it would be, after seeing this orb and sort of taking in the strangeness and the beauty of it, would be to look up and see if...
Is to summon his dog.
Bye,
Cody!
You've revealed my trap card, dog. Do we still see like the massive column we've climbed down?
Yes, it extends upwards like tons and tons of stories.
Well, that was lucky that we used it here. Unless it was just going to reveal wherever it was.
Trent laughs nervously.
I think if we had been like 2 or 3 stories down and that was where it was the whole time, then the spell wouldn't have worked. It only has a short range.
To keep me sane, I'm gonna say it would have happened wherever, because otherwise...
Oh, I've given up on being sane, and I show him the piece of paper that I scribbled all over.
Oh, I was watching.
It has like a smiley face, some random writing, 2 dicks. Like, what is going on?
Well...
2?
Seems that...
Okay, it's like, that's too many.
Well, that wand certainly... I guess there's a reason Black River had it, huh?
You don't think it was
It was also inside the chest that he really did not want us taking.
Table talk, well done.
Well, I actually have no idea what this is about, but good job, guys.
Perhaps all the other things he had... Perhaps all the other things he had are going to be useful, too.
That gem, maybe we need to use that with... Or wait, maybe that's a bad idea. Maybe that's what they wanted to use the bead for. Maybe we shouldn't use it with the portals.
Yeah, we don't know why they were here. We definitely shouldn't try to complete their ritual for them.
Can I,
And that's how Monday Group killed everybody.
Well, hold on. I turn and
Perhaps
look.
we should.
Paladin Merton,
Paladin Merton.
you still have that diamond with you, Trent. And you still have that potion of gaseous form.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, I still have this diamond. You
I
gonna
have
take
a
it away from
potion.
me?
No. You hold on to it. But I show him a pearl in my hand now. This is supposed to contain some sort of liquid, you said as well. Keep that in mind as we go forward. This all came from the same chest.
Is this a portal, by the way?
I don't know. I was just about to ask you guys if you guys cared if I went down and got a little
I wanna
closer
touch
to
it.
investigate it.
Sure, let's get close.
Nope. Illyria, no touching.
Please!
Well, to be
No.
honest, it might be the way forward.
Not until we know what it is, though.
We're never gonna know.
Yeah, you're never gonna know unless you touch it.
Can't entirely agree with that, but let's at least get a
Definitely
better
agree
luck.
with that.
Did Tyrannus, he went away from this world, right? Hid himself away?
Yeah, I have a feeling that's where Tyrannus is. That's why I don't want you to touch it and show up next to a dragon.
You said he wasn't bad.
He wasn't good either.
Well, we are quite the same. Wouldn't you agree?
Dragons also tend not to, like guests, intruding upon their hordes if that's where he is resting. I assume he has many things around
Or
him.
maybe he got there and realized that he forgot to leave a way out.
It's mighty optimistic of you.
I think if we leave here learning nothing, we're as good as dead because we have
Well, we're
Quite
getting
a-
closer to it to take a look at least.
we have quite a group after us. It would seem there might not be a right option anymore.
I'm gonna hobble down to it.
Sure. When you get on the ground floor, the sphere rising up 15 feet from the ground is rather large and trumps you easily. You're not sure if there's another 15 feet that goes underneath or not, but regardless, staring at this thing is awe-inspiring. It's like looking at the night sky. The twinkles within it, now that you're this close, clearly resemble stars and galaxies. For a moment, you even see what looks like an object that moves within it, and realize it's like a comet, a little streak of light moving across, and then it vanishes.
Do we see is this a full sphere that we see, or is it like a dome? Like a
dome.
half
You're
sphere?
seeing the upper half. Sorry, I should have clarified.
Okay.
It continues to drone on, just this warbling. Wah, wah.
Do you think that
Is there
is the
any
effect keeping us here?
Is there any study of astronomy in the world at this point, Illusion?
I would
Like,
say
is it worth,
absolutely.
like-
Astronomy is probably very important, especially for divination wizards.
That's me!
Roll Arcana.
That's me.
Roll a what?
Arcana, please.
Do I want to use one of my... They're just
He
average.
said roll it. He didn't say take a score.
If he said use your portent roll.
I got a 13 Arcana.
A 13. Okay. Looking at this, the stars and constellation here presented to you may as well just be any random part of the night sky. You know that some bits move about and others don't, and some are significant and others are simply noise in the astrological surroundings. This looks like noise. You have no idea what it is that you're looking at, and the way that the stars are arranged, either you're looking at constellations you know from a completely different point of view, or it's just some random stars. Tough to tell.
Anybody got a pole to poke it?
No.
We could poke it, or we could go in.
Merton whips out his cock.
I mean, if you think we should touch it, I'm gonna identify
Sorry,
it.
Twitch.
Wait, is there nothing else here? Like looking at our surroundings?
I mean, I have my staff, Trent. But,
Try poking it with the staff. See if your staff goes in.
But I kind of need it.
There is nothing here. The only thing is a, 3-inch tall bit of stone that rises up and goes around the sphere. Kind of like a very small sort of raised area that sort of just runs around the length of it.
Okay.
Almost like the first step to the thing kind of thing. Or maybe something holding it in place, who knows. There's nothing written, no symbols on it though.
I think it's the only way.
I suppose so.
I think we know we're not going up or down anymore. And although scary, I think we're going to end up going through eventually one way or the other.
Well, here's that
Alright.
leap of faith.
Give me 10 minutes, guys, and I'll set up identify.
Sure.
I guess, don't you have a pet crocodile we could send in with a rope tied to him? Much in the manner we used with a monkey.
Oh,
Many
you
moons
guys
ago.
did that. Oh, poor monkey. Oh wait,
Well,
is this the? This isn't the same one. Let's do something else.
it could be similar to that.
Do you really want to send a crocodile through?
Well, we're waiting for
Well,
Trent
we
to
could send something
do
much
it,
simpler
identify.
through. We don't have to
As
send
we're
it.
waiting here, I'll pull rope out and tie it around the base of one of my javelins. How
Sure.
about this?
Okay. Are
I
you
look around at my party. Is anyone telling me to stop?
You're the
Not,
most
I mean-
respected one here in this temple, so
All right. Well, I chuck it through the portal.
maybe don't chuck it if there's
Alright.
something in there. You might hit it and anger it. We don't want to.
Well, Tyrannus is about to
Would
get a
be funny
toothpick
to
in
kill
the
the
eye,
person who
okay?
can get us out.
Toothpick in the eye. Go, Tyrannus.
You throw the javelin, and it passes with very little friction through the darkened sphere. I'd like you to make an investigation check, please, Sakul.
Am I grabbing onto the other end of the rope?
Yes, you're holding the rope in hand. Yeah, rope in one hand, javelin in the other, kind of thing.
That is 13.
Okay. When you throw the javelin, you see what looks like a very brief disruption on the top of the sphere. Right where the impact is, it's almost like a sort of mild ripple, like you're piercing a piece of paper or like a thin gelatin or something. But easily, the javelin disappears into it, and it's gone from being. Your rope extends for a bit. Do you kind of like let it carry, or do you just sort of hold onto the rope where it is?
Carry, but I'm like wrapping the base of the rope around me, so I'll have a good grip once it gets taut.
The strangest thing happens. The rope pulls away from you as you throw it, which is what you expect. But the momentum at which the rope is pulling away from you seems to just kind of diminish slowly. Like a little bit by bit, it kind of tugs ever so like less as time goes on, and it doesn't actually pull the entirety of the rope, eventually stopping. You guys actually see the moment where the rope seems to be like, pulled taut, and then just kind of goes slack afterwards.
Oh God!
I look and turn to the other two. I was like, well, maybe you should pull a weapon out. I'm going to pull the rope back in. We may have a fish on the end. We may not.
Do we know what gravity
Let's just
is?
step back a little bit.
You definitely don't.
We don't. Okay.
But we can calculate free fall time.
If you
It's
put
like,
3 over 12x over theta. So
It's
you...
like you threw it into a water. It's like you threw it into a pool or
No,
something.
I got it. I'll start pulling the rope back now.
Bit by bit, you pull the thing back, and eventually it looks like the rope is starting to get thin. You're getting towards its end, and then the javelin pops back out. It's still attached and tied to the other end. It doesn't seem to be changed in any way.
If I touch the haft and then the metal, it's not colder or anything like that.
When you
Heated
grab a
or-
hold of it, it does seem a little bit colder than usual, which is maybe a little uncomfortable, given that you're already in a cold room. But it's nothing deathly, I suppose.
So, well, it seems to still be in good shape. Nothing, no blood or any evidence of it hitting anything over there. But that was strange. I should have been able to throw the javelin much further than 50 feet, which is how much rope I have. But it stopped way before that. Maybe some sort of magic impedes the movement of the javelin. Maybe Trent could find more as I look over towards him finishing his ritual. Or working on his ritual, I should say.
Sure. Trent, you finish your ritual. The detect magic goes off. Zakul's finished his little
No,
science
I'm using
experiment.
identify.
Identify. What do you want to cast the identify on as you finish?
Um,
Don't you have to touch
now,
it?
when I finish this ritual, do I have any amount of time before it goes off, or is it like the ritual is done, I need to cast it immediately?
I would say if you need to move to a different part of the room or something like that, you're welcome to do so. But once you touch the object you want to use it on, the spell is spent.
Okay. I'll stand up
Sure.
and be like, somebody get ready to grab me, and I'll touch the side of it, like very lightly pushing my palm up to the sphere.
Make
like
an
afraid
Arcana
to
check.
pass through.
Did my Discord just die?
We
Perhaps.
can hear you.
Oh god, it died for like a good 30 seconds.
You didn't hear anything that Jimmy said?
No.
That's a 15 Arcana check.
When you reach forward, your hand touches against the threshold of this blackened orb. The sort of starry pinpricks within shimmer for a brief moment, and your hand feels cold against its surface. It's like putting your hand near maybe a container filled with like sort of cold vapors. You can feel them moving about, but they're definitely not solid. And the information starts to come to you. It's fragmented, not because your spell seems to be functioning at maybe 50% capacity, but because there's so much info that comes at you, you can only grab small snippets as it races by. Again, you're assailed by a magic that you've now come to realize is far greater than that which you can understand. But you do get small bits, and you can
Frantic scribbling ensues.
You can feel that this is a portal to, indeed, another plane of existence. Which plane, you don't know, but this is a portal you're looking at. Your hand pulls back.
Alright, Aleutian. How many planes of existence do I know of being a mage or a wizard studied in the college in Soulsland?
Roll Arcana. If you get a 10, I'd say probably normal knowledge. A 15, maybe like a little extra. 20, you've got like quite a bit under your belt.
It's 22.
Ah. You know of most of the planes. You're aware of the elemental planes. You know of the plane where the demons lie and where the devils seem to keep their castles. You know that there are heavenly planes and all sorts of strange fey planes as well, shadow planes. You also know that there are subplanes which exist. And as you touch this portal, you get a great sense of regret because you're unable to decipher where this thing goes to.
Okay.
You know of many of them that exist, and yet none of them feel familiar as you touch this thing. It's either a plane that you've simply not learned of, which is somewhat unlikely, given that you were actually pretty good when it came to the rest of your class on that subject, or maybe it's just something that nobody knows about.
Do I know about demiplanes?
Yes,
Like,
I would say you
creature
certainly
created
know about
planes?
demiplanes. And it's quite possible that this is a demiplane as well. This could even be fabricated. Maybe it's not a true plane, but one sustained by some other means. You'd be aware that that kind of magic exists.
How much science is there in the world? Do I know space is cold? Do I know there's no gravity? If I see stars in here, my like gut
Oh, yeah.
reaction as a player is to think that this is like a plane portal to space.
I asked about gravity. He said we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I
That's
would
with
say
magic, we can all be astronauts.
the closest thing that exists to a knowledge of space for any very intelligent individual and well-read individual in the 5e universe is probably the astral plane, where you kind of like move with your thoughts and stuff through like a space where up and down and weight just like, you know, doesn't really apply.
Does this look like the astral plane? Like visually?
I would say from the outside of the orb, no. And because you know about the astral plane,
You know it's not one to there.
yeah, you would probably feel that this is where that's going.
It is where it's going, or it's not where it's going.
You know that that's not where it's going because you're familiar with what the astral plane is.
All right. So as I pull my hand away and sort of like tuck it under my armpit to warm it up, it's a portal. We were right. I don't know where it goes. I know a lot of planes, guys. Like
a lot of planes. And this doesn't match with anything that I've read about or studied. I mean, it could be just like a creature created one, like a demi-plane, if you guys are familiar with those. Like sort of planes of existence that only were
That
created.
would make the
through
most
the magic
sense.
of the
That
mind.
would make sense with the gods having their planes and being such as powerful as Tyrannus disappearing. He may have created this himself. If that's the case, perhaps we should just enter and attempt our best.
Now, you just warned us about walking into a dragon's home. And
Well, do you want to climb back up the stairs? Do you think that we can leave that way?
I think
I look up.
we need to go.
If you think we can turn around, cut everything here, and turn and leave for our own safety, then sure. But I'm inclined to believe that this may be our way out and our only way out.
Given that I am sort of the most read on the planes, do you want to do what you did with the javelin with me, and I'll go in for like a few seconds, and then you guys can pull me out? Maybe I'll have more information that way.
Throw the mage. Throw the mage.
I shake my head. I think you've risked enough already by touching it. If what lies within is a dragon,
I go in?
Perhaps
If what lies in there is a dragon,
the
the most prepared to talk to a dragon should go in. And that's obviously Zakul.
Does everybody look at Zakul?
Oh, I was volunteering already. It wasn't like
Yeah,
yeah. Throwing me there.
I know you want to go in. We'll give you a rope.
I feel like I should go with them. I feel like someone.
I feel
with
we
greater
should all
knowledge-
just go in rather than.
I think we should all just go in, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I think we should just take the leap of faith together.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll hold out one hand towards Zakul and one towards Illyria.
I will grab it.
Actually, I can't hold anybody's hands. I got
Mhm.
crutches. Sorry.
Yeah. How about we just step in at relatively the same time and not worry too much about
We'll
I'll
go
put my
on your mark.
crutches up on the little stone ledge there.
On your mark, Zakul. When you take a step, we'll follow in
Sure.
suit.
On 3, 2, 1, and we step forward.
Hop in.
Okay.
Aleutian's like, you all die. As you step into space and there's no gravity and your body are ripped apart.
Stepping past the threshold, you guys all feel a sense of cold that comes over you, and there's a darkness that overtakes your vision, but it peels back too, and eventually you see something. The twinkling of stars, and what looks like large galaxies, like swirling colors of smaller pinpricks all moving together in unison, come into view. You're standing on something that is kind of uncomfortable, most certainly not made for the types of beings that you are. You find yourself standing on a sort of circular object. The 5 of you are on a sphere, exactly the same size as that 15-foot black sphere that you had seen in that strange staircase. As you stand on the thing, your feet seem to move up and down, almost like there's a buoyancy to the thing, though you feel like you can pierce it or make it ripple with any sort of sudden motions.
Huh.
This black sphere, though, is not completely static. There is, from one end, which you would assume is up, and one end, which you assume is down, a large cone that emanates out from it. It looks like a brilliant beam of light, and from that beam of light you see all sorts of strange colors and particles that look like they're moving in towards the sphere in these massive cones. Each cone is probably about 2, 3, maybe more, like 400 feet extending out, and you guys can see that it leads off to some sort of like strange and lit gaseous cloud, almost like it's being sort of like sucked in to that point there where you guys are standing near. All around you, there's a swirl. In the distance, you can see what looks like smaller pinpricks, maybe distant stars, who knows. But close to you, all the objects seem to move in unison, as though they're swirling around your central location. And the most jarring of which is not just floating rocks or pinpricks of light, is a massive skeleton of some sort of dragon, which floats and moves around, swirling continuously. It passes by you in view there, so large and grandiose that it gives you a sense of vertigo. Your stomach drops when it passes by, and then as it sort of tails around the other end of the sphere, it disappears from view, and then inevitably comes back. Its orbit is so far away that you can't actually see the thing or really interact with it. It's probably more than 100 feet away from you guys, but whenever it passes by, you see the thing move there again. You all feel a sense of cold as you're standing here. What do you guys want to do?
I'll let out my breath that I've been holding.
Sure.
You guys hear me? Can
You
we
all
speak?
hear Trent.
I believe so.
Yeah.
If any of
I'm
you
assuming-
feel completely off or about anything, please let us know as we proceed.
Only a couple of words are exchanged. Trent speaks, and Illyrius says something. Zakul adds his 2 cents in as well. And you notice that there's a strange cadence to everybody's voice. It's familiar. It certainly sounds like their own voice. But there's something missing. And after a moment, you realize it's that there's nothing for their voice to rebound off of. It dissipates perfectly.
I think we found Tyrannus.
The large dragon skeleton moves into view again. It floats by amidst a large tumbling circle, like a ring made of different rocks of numerous size. Some of them look like gigantic gems. From the distance here, they'd be so large you could buy multiple kingdoms. All of Aurelium could probably be purchased by the size of that ruby that you see floating by, or that strange sparkling rock that gives off a silverish sheen. But the dragon's skeleton is there among them, like some sort of piece of debris, and it continues to move around this ring.
I thought you said he transcended death. I didn't expect a skeleton.
I don't. This was thousands of years ago, and I didn't know if he was dying when he left or what. He just left the material plane.
I mean, looking up at the dragon, would I be able to recall anything about skeletal dragons or Draco liches or anything like that?
Go ahead and make for me a... Do you have Arcana?
Nope.
Roll straight luck for me then.
Seven.
No
Lucky
idea.
7. Come on. I'm rolling terribly.
You think to yourself, wondering if there's something you can glean from this skeleton. It passes beyond view, the tip of its tail once again moving past the darkened sphere, but when it reappears on the other side, the position of the dragon has changed. Its head and neck cranes in your group's direction. It's at this point that you notice just how well put together the skeleton is. Even though it floats within the debris, everything is where it should be. Its wing bones, its hands, its large claws, its absolutely massive skull. They're all arranged almost like a creature was taken and just simply stripped of everything else. It looks at you, and for a brief moment you guys all hear something, and it speaks. A voice echoes out. Unlike yours, its cadence echoes and almost seems to have a reverb in this place, where yours seems thin, quick, and easy to disappear from existence. This one has a linger to it, and it says, "Why have you come?" Slowly, the dragon continues to move. It goes past the sphere again. You wait until that minute passes, so that it might reappear again. Does anybody say anything?
Does anyone want to?
Only if Sakul doesn't.
Okay.
The group nervously looks at each other.
I look and kind of bow my head, holding my arm up, and speak in Draconic, saying, great
Oh, I
one,
should mention,
it's-"
sorry, it speaks in Draconic.
Okay. And speaking back in Draconic, I will say, "Oh, great one, we came into your temple and was welcomed as kin or visitors, but we found our way here after discovering the secret behind the staircase in the halls of the immortal Tyrannus. Is that your lordship, the one that we are talking to.
Even before you see the thing, you hear its voice echoing from the opposite side of the sphere, and it says, "So you've made it then. You cannot imagine how many countless adventurers have died in my trap. I applaud you." When the thing comes around again, it's in a different pose. You never specifically see the skeleton move, but when it passes into your vision, it seems to be in a different sort of pose each time. This time, it looks at you in a sort of semi-predatory fashion. It drifts by, and then disappears from view again.
Great one. The world that we live in right now has great forces moving from behind the shadows, and I believe they had crap. I'm trying to think of the word. It's
Take your time.
no. See,
If there's a time to choose your words carefully, now is certainly one of them.
Are you thinking of the word conspired? I heard you start with a C.
yeah, I think conspire. I'm sorry.
Cuntish forces working in the darkness.
I'm like conceit. Oh no. Okay, so conspire.
Cocksuckers.
There's a bunch of cocksuckers.
There are forces
Sorry,
outside that
Twitch.
conspire to try to make use of your great strength and invade here at some point. We intervened and took their plans and items away that helped us in coming through your temple and even finding it. But they may still be on their way here.
I know of what you speak. So freshly have I been slain that the sting I still feel.
I think
I'm
Trent would be
saying-
so, caught off guard that he would say, "They killed you in Draconic," and then, cover his mouth like, "Fuck."
Yes. The dagger was cast past the portal. So insignificant a thing, I did not pay it any heed. No notice did I give it, and then it was over.
I believe that was at Black River. I believe
Not to be
that-
rude, can we speak in common? I don't know what you guys are saying.
I have the
just out of
message
curiosity.
spell. I will translate for Merton.
Just out of curiosity, if you guys
I don't speak.
comprehend language, is that something you can cast on a willing creature, or is it just self only?
You can cast it on a willing creature, I think, just off the top of my head.
I don't have that prepared today.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Me and
Um,
Merton both don't know Draconic.
I will ignore that statement and just continue speaking respectfully in Draconic.
For you two, a strange conversation unfolds, but you have no idea what they're saying.
Can I whisper the message, the cantrip, and just sort of translate for the pair of them, sending each of them a message, every now and then, letting them know what's going on?
You can certainly try. Do you want to message one of them and tell them what's being said?
Yeah, I'll try and whisper to Merton, since he's the one who cried out. I'll just tell him what's.
Sure. You point a finger and go to cast a spell. Trent, I'd like you to make a luck roll, please.
Okay.
Skeletal Draco Lich is about to burn you for casting magic in his domain.
Hey, that's the 5 that I keep rolling all night.
I've been rolling garbage too.
When you go to cast a spell, you point over, and the spell does indeed finish. But you're interrupted. You only get a couple words of the message before you hear a loud, cascading crunch off in the distance. One of the pieces that floats within the orb explodes, and bits of rock go flying everywhere, and everybody hears the cascade of debris as it goes off in random directions.
Great one. We managed to kill that elf that used that dagger within you. Is something wrong? Is that orb exploding of your doing?
One of you has brought magic to my realm. I would caution you against such actions. Even now, dead, lingering here, I could still send you to the next realm.
That was me. Sorry. We have a buddy who can't speak Draconic, so I was just filling him in. I'll talk to him later. Sorry.
You are as meek as they come, like a blind one crawling around in the dirt. You have no idea what sort of greater world there is that you touch upon.
Now,
I
your
wish
lordship.
to learn, though.
Now, your lordship, if you don't mind me asking, did they do anything to you after they used the dagger upon you, like keeping you here against your will or some sort of spell? We've met an Avatar of Death before, which they somehow use a powerful magic to bind. And I fear that they may have done something to you as well.
Make a persuasion roll, please.
Ooh, I'm actually good at those. Unless I roll a 5 again. Well, that's 11.
An 11. Absurd. What a question to ask of a ghost.
Well, even after you've passed from your trappings of flesh, within your bones and within your majesty, you still contain far more power than we could ever understand. These mortals that may have murdered you or done whatever trappings to lead to your demise, may have used for that power.
Have you any idea, small kin, how long I've spent here? What work I've done? Does my name carry the reverence that it deserves with you? Or are you ignorant like all the rest?
We know that you've been a powerful being for thousands of years before you secluded yourself. What you've done in seclusion has not reached the outside world, but we still remember you and pass your name and story among our kin.
I have made worlds and collapsed planes. I've turned death and time and bent it to my will. I'll have you know that now the fact that I am dead and I float through this space is more of a new chapter than it is an inconvenience.
Naturally, your greatness.
Those that have slain me, I know not why it is that they have, but what I do know is that my power is absolute, and one day I will have my revenge on them.
Perhaps we could aid you in this revenge coming much quicker.
I'm listening.
That same group is after us for slaying one of their kin. If they are to inevitably come into conflict with us, then anything that may help us would also do in getting rid of them at a much quicker schedule than you already have planned. Revenge
The
could be
affairs
much
of mortals are motivated by petty action. What was it, Dragonborn? Was it love that was taken away from you? Was it coin or power? Was it land that they stripped? Why is your group pitted against theirs?
Hold on. Table talk, I'm trying to... I guess power? Wait, did he say...
Can I take this one, Sakul?
Sure. Go ahead. In character, go ahead. I'll seem lost for words thinking about it.
They did not take anything from us, nor did we take anything from them. Instead, they have arranged themselves, this conclave of forces, to strike out what many consider to be a disgrace or a mistake on the part of the gods.
For you see us group here gathered before you are what are known as Great Souls. I'm sure you're familiar with the term. We've existed for millennia, and I'm sure we were around in your time as well.
If you think that I am blind, human, to what it is that you are, then you're sorely mistaken. Cast another spell in my realm, and I'll turn you to dust.
I mean, you no disrespect. I just wanted to explain why they're after us. They've brought this war upon themselves, seeking to end us and our kin, trying to wipe out the Great Souls from the material plane. What purpose they have for that is lost to us, but we do have...
And your greatness, they've also managed to rally something like the Great One. Some sort of tentacled monster that is fighting for them on their side. Power of relatively strong being, at least among the mortal. And probably a far greater scope than what we can handle on our own.
A great tentacled one, you say?
He actually used his magics to himself, and we were able to piece together from various books we've read and lore and stories we've passed down that he is some form of tentacle great one with the ability to damage the mind from very far away.
I found myself cast into an abyss of dark water, and I saw rising through the tide a set of glowing green eyes and massive tentacles.
The dragon skeleton comes rotating around again, this time no longer looking at you predatory. It holds its chin much like a human would when in deep thought. Perhaps this creature's demeanor has changed.
This is hilarious because he only changes his position when he goes around, like away from our view, right?
Mhm.
He comes back around.
It's like those old skits where people would wipe their hand in front of their face and change their...
Mhm.
Thinking emoji
It's
as
the
right now.
doorway
Comes back.
Exactly, yeah.
Going back and forth across the
What
doorway.
we really need to worry about is if he doesn't rotate back around. If he just disappears on the backside.
So this plot involves the Great Old Ones, does it? You have
Seem
my
to have.
interest.
They seem to have somehow garnered them to their side, or maybe they're the ones pulling the strings behind these lesser mortals. But whatever their aims are, it included you and, to some degree, some of us because of our status as great souls.
I've seen things in the stars, and now with your words, I know what they are. For that, I give you my thanks. Let it be as luxurious as it is meant to be. There is no gold or gem in this world that is worth as much as what I give you now.
I bow reverently when he says that.
Yeah, I'm gonna bow.
Beyond the stars, further off into the distance, you guys see what looks like a bunch of the pinpricks almost rearrange. And past them, some of them even disappear like a dark cloud is occluding them from your vision. The voice continues. I know of the Great Old Ones. I have seen them off in their space. They sit in chairs beyond the known universe, and every piece of reading that I found of them says that there is much that they know and little that escapes them. But it has always been so, and the world continues to exist, even when I was but a wormling, unable to cast even the most meek of spells, only my bite at my side, no breath of flame. I was allowed to exist, and the Old Ones had it so. You should not consider them to be your enemies, more than an avalanche seeks to kill somebody along the side of its mountain, or a flame seeks to immolate that which was thrown into it.
And this world of mortals is that just a side effect in whatever their greater plans are, and we have no hope?
It may be. No one knows for certain. In my time, I've come to believe that they have a plan for us, or perhaps there's something that they have need of in the material and the extra-material planes. You would do well to consider them a force, and not an ally or an enemy. They simply are. However, if they're involved, then there's something of importance at stake, and I certainly wish to know of it. There's a dreadful boredom in floating throughout a nexus of my own design, unable to leave, thanks to death and a lingering ghost.
Perhaps
You
we
say you cannot leave because of a lingering ghost? Or wait, is he implying that he's the ghost and you can't leave, or
That's up to
something
you to
holding
decide.
you? Are you saying something is keeping you here, a lingering ghost, your lordship?
I have passed. This is where I will be from now on, until something new comes along. As for you all, I sense that you are all great souls and still alive. You have action. The world is still yours to interact with. You're small and pitiful in comparison to a being like myself, but you do possess something that I no longer have, at least until I assume my normal form.
Oh,
Would you like us to be your eyes and ears outside of this plane, or at least help break this boredom that you find yourself in? Perhaps your eyes and ears, more tools would be more apt description.
You tempt me with action. There is nothing worse. There is no chaos that could possibly rival in comparison to knowing exactly what comes the day after the next, and the next, and the next. But if I decide to help you, I may find myself in the Old One's plans. Is that worthy? What decision? Do I make a left or a right? When the dragon skeleton passes by, its head and neck cranes over its massive body. It peers out from the debris and looks off towards the darkened cloud as it sort of revolves around you all.
your lordship, if I may.
Yes.
I believe you have already become involved, and whether you decide to take action or not, they've already calculated you into whatever they connive together. Whatever you do now is what our stories always told of the great Tyrannus, taking his own fate into his own hands, someone who has control over fate itself, but not lay back and just deem to watch.
A simple conjurer's trick. You have no idea how many bards I've met on the road trying to play the same game, appealing to my ego to get something from me that they want. Yet, it always makes me smile. Perhaps I'll side with you. Perhaps. You have something to say, human, so say it. There's nothing that escapes me here. This is where I've chosen to manifest. Everything is available to me.
I think what my Dragonborn was trying to say, and my ally was speaking to, is that these creatures, these beings, whatever they are, have involved you in their plot. And if you choose to watch, then your participation in what happens will be of their choosing. Whereas if you are to give us a goal or a task or aid us in some way, then your participation isn't just what they make it, but it's what you make it.
If I were to give you an order, where to start? What to do? What task would be befitting of a number of supplicant great souls like yourselves?
We've slain the one responsible, at least immediately responsible for your death. However, he was the only one of the group that we are aware of. Perhaps in your great divining knowledge, you might point us in the direction of another one.
There are few things in this world more powerful than a cascading vengeance. What it would be like to be swept up in such a thing once more. Perhaps I am willing to help. What do you know of this group, and how, more importantly, do you know of them at all?
I pull out the amulet. When we slayed the one who killed you, he dropped this, or was carrying this. It's their way of communicating.
Cast it to me.
I'll look at the distance between us, and then be like, you better throw this.
When the
I
large
take it
dragon
from,
skeleton disappears from view, it eventually revolves around again, and it has its large fist held out to you. Its grasp as though it's expecting an object as it revolves.
I'll grab the amulet and throw it up to him, aiming at the fist.
Okay. You throw the thing, and it moves maybe about 50 feet away from you before it just vanishes from existence. The skeleton continues to revolve around and disappears from existence, and the voice continues again. What a beautiful, shiny rock you've brought me. Mortals are always such drawn creatures to a thing like this. Magpies to a piece of jewelry. But there's a great power here. I sense it. So many different messages. As you guys are waiting there, you see what looks like new galaxies that are born into existence. Off in the distance, there's a small star that explodes. A large wave cascades out from it, like a ripple on a pond. A piece of sort of neon blue goes out through a three-dimensional space, and in its location, you see a number of new, smaller, but greater shimmers than before. The voice continues.
Can I try and sketch this, like on a piece of parchment?
Sure.
Obviously, I don't have inks to color it properly, but just like to see especially for a divination wizard, to see stars exploding or galaxies brought into life is like insane. So I just want to capture as much of it as I can.
Sure.
I just think it's pretty lights because I have no implications of stars and galaxies.
An interesting plot. I see the messages that you have seen. I see now why it is that you've come to believe what it is that you believe. Though, I think something different. I'd like all of you to roll insight, please.
Good at these two. I said roll like a
All of us that can understand him.
Oh, sorry. Those of you that can't understand, just fuck right off.
God damn it.
If you
I'll
don't
just
have
fuck right
Draconic, you can't touch this. 17.
So
Okay.
fun. I have like a 10 modifier to insight.
Don't speak Draconic in a dragon's tongue.
Gotta get that young comprehend languages spell.
I'm too
Can't
busy
use the
staring off
spell.
into the
A 17 and a 21.
Cast that comprehend language so we can be turned to dust.
Nice
Exactly. Okay.
Thank you.
Zakul and Illyria, you both feel as though there's a shift in the area around you, almost like you can see farther. The stars are clearer, but maybe more important than that, the dragon's voice seems to change. It goes from being one of a sort of contemplative and adversarial manner to something more akin to that of the voice of a friend, or maybe somebody who's a pleasant acquaintance looking out for you. The voice continues. I sense much here. Plans within plans. A great number of colors. You have taken black on the board, have you not?
That is our belief, your lordship.
You can believe that in absolutes, for I, too, believe such a thing. But there is much here that remains mystery, a puzzle I would love to see solved. This will occupy my mind as I linger here. After today, when you leave this place, know that this puzzle will be forever on my mind. And I would see to it that you return to tell me more should you find anything. I offer to you now a seat within a group that only such as yourself can occupy. You will all report to me and do actions in my stead. What previous connections you have are to be thrown and cast aside at my whim, for I am much greater than anything that those connections could have possibly been before. Do you understand?
Later, Deso.
Yes.
I am a worshipper of Azun, sire. That should not be in conflict.
Father to us all, a good one to worship, but only for what little action he's had in bringing us into the world. I'm sure you agree.
Of course, sir.
I feel as though I'm inclined to tell you that I may have made a bargain in my past that bears little compared to what you offer here, but I might be held to it beyond my own decisions.
You five shall be reborn from this day. All of your previous actions and connections should be laid to bear, that I might strip them and throw away that which is unnecessary. Don't keep anything from me. Your deception rings on my nose like a foul stench.
I'll pull out the orb bag and the obsidian dagger. Just sort of hold them there.
Something that was once great, I sense in your hands. But that's exactly that, isn't it? They were once great, and no longer are they useful.
Your lordship, if I may interrupt. I have another paladin in our party who at the moment cannot understand you. And he has a god that has many requirements of him. And his pact, and he's an acolyte and very loyal to his service. I'm not sure if you would be able to do
As
this.
I have said, this is a time of rebirth. And you move forward, not knowing what it is that you've done. But there is a plot that you've been wrapped in. A murderous plot. There is no paladin next to you. No, a warlock stands next to you, one who is not even alive, truly. His deception you've repeated to so many, though he still has use.
I'm just standing there like smiling. Can't understand shit.
We're like turning and looking over at Merlin.
I think Trent would just keep looking towards Tyrannus.
Go on then. Stare at the face of somebody who's led you from a spot of lies and deceit for so long.
Your lordship, if I may ask in private here, since he cannot understand us, he is not in league with those after us, or within those messages.
No, he's not, is he?
Well, then, I suppose since we've been traveling, why he kept that secret to himself is something I must respect. But if you don't mind, could I speak with him in your presence?
You can have any talks that you wish in this place. The only one to listen is me and the cosmos.
Should I throw away these things? They bear no meaning to me anymore, if what you say is true.
Who gave you such objects that now have no power?
An aspect of the god Asperis, the very aspect whose follower is the one who threw the dagger that took away your corporeal form.
Revenge and the undoing of plans makes for a world that accomplishes little. You should feel ashamed to have followed him before. But I'll turn a blind eye if you cast them, and, like your feelings for Deso, throw them into the void. I sense much within that mind of yours, Trent.
I just dropped them.
They float away, as though there's some sort of invisible current that pulls them off away from your
Literally
group.
mystery space.
I'm just kind of staring at Trent like, what the fuck?
Okay,
Not
so-
understanding this, and then I see him throw away the Asperis, and I'm a worshiper of him.
I'll walk over to Merton and speaking in common. So, well, the being Tyrannus has just revealed to us that you have kept many secrets from us, but he has assured us that you have not betrayed us in the ultimate way of working for those who work against us. At least. So, at the very least, I trust that why you have kept those secrets from us is your own, and if you don't wish to share that just yet, that's fine. But he has given us the deal. Merton. Kind of cutting Paladin off right at the beginning.
He
asked
speaks
us.
truth. Did you really think that with all the forms I've showed you, this was my true one?
Well, he has revealed that you've already passed on, and you walk among us as the undead. I find that amazing that I've never noticed your presence, considering I have a ability or a knack for being able to do that, given to me by Zoom.
The man carries a disguise that I sense.
I would have
It
took
stinks
off
of the influence of the elves. Only they would craft such a thing.
I want to see Will's token.
Oh yeah, reveal the real token.
of the real token. I do have it. I would take off the amulet or necklace, ring, whatever it is.
I believe it was an amulet.
Okay.
The necklace is pulled from Merton's neck, and in place you see pulls out the little Trump token.
It was actually Victoria all along. Wait.
I do declare. Wait, do you actually have the token around?
I had a
think he just
picture.
has the image that
Oh, please
might
do.
have been-
Yeah, I'll give you a little extra thing here.
Sure.
You can send me the link too if you want, because I don't think you can alter tokens.
No, I cannot.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I mean, it's been in characters since the very start, so.
Yeah, but those are so old, I haven't looked at them in a long time.
I don't think I even saw that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen your actual one either.
I might look for a different one if you guys would be okay with that, because it's not really.
Yeah,
You can just describe what it is that you look like then at this moment.
I never had a thought about it because I never thought I was going to.
Reveal
get
yourself.
outed by a
Well,
magical
surprise,
dragon
motherfucker. You're in
skeleton.
front of Tyrannus, so...
Well, you described that ghosts aren't like could see through, that they're just kind of normal? They look like a little different?
Yeah, they're slightly opaque. Like you can see to the other side of them, like blurry images kind of thing.
I found the original one. Well, if you want me to send it to you.
Yeah, go for it. I'm still scrolling.
Well, naturally, I've seen you change your face many times. This is not the biggest surprise, I suppose. While you felt the need to keep this from us, after how long we've traveled, I shrugged.
I've been waiting for the time. I hinted at Trent and you all plenty of times.
Perhaps I wasn't the fastest to catch on, scratching the back of my head. Well, regardless, the lordship has asked or offered us a seat at his table, one that comes with a condition. One where we must cast aside our previous engagements, such as Dessa or maybe even a Spirus looking over towards Zencast. I did mention that you had a deity or someone who you work for, an entity of some sort behind you. And he has stated that we would have to cast all that aside, including my own devotion to Azun, the father of dragons. And we will be reborn, so the consequences.
He said we had to cast it aside?
Only if we are going to take his offer to see,
Well,
to sit for him.
metagaming, he said that he might tell us to cast it aside. But,
Yeah, I think he said that like if our current things ever.
he said if he deems
conflict.
it worthy. He didn't say you have to cast it.
Is there okay? Metagaming table talk question: is it okay if just I take this thing?
That's
Would
up
he
to
be
you.
okay? Would he be okay with? Okay, well I can ask.
I can't tell you that table talk. You'll have to find that in character.
All right. Well, I'll still try to convince them for now. But if you have, I'll speak with him once again. I
Great
just wanted to make
Tyrannus,
sure
do you speak
there.
common? I would assume with your power.
Of course I do. You can't imagine how many years I've spent amongst the common rabble.
Any more than I can imagine. You ask us to strip ourselves of any deities or pacts. Is that true? Do I understand correctly?
Keep whatever pacts you wish. I simply mean that you should put me before them.
I can do that.
Good.
I have not quite the same pact as many others do.
I sense that you tell truth for once, liar.
Well, I don't lie out of want, but
But
living
out
in
of
the world,
revenge. Isn't that it?
indeed.
So sweet. Should there be a time where you must choose between what I ask of you and what your gods or loved ones ask of you, you'll have to choose me, for I don't choose disloyal servants.
I did willingly leave the town holding my revenge for something much less. Obviously, I could do this for you.
Then this time you'll do it for something much more great. And the rest of you, what do you say?
Well, your lordship, I am someone who was raised to worship Azun and devoted to him. But if it's a mortal task or something that I must hold, in immediacy, I believe he would have no concern of me serving another dragon. It is still furthering the cause of another one of his kin. You have no objections to that.
Trust me, young one. I know how it is that Azun thinks. I knew him before he was God, even. His motives are as common to me as that of a close family member. You'll find that I'm a much more suitable master. I don't have the same greed that it is that Azun has, or the desire for power. I have it all. He's still thirsty.
Forgive me, your lordship, but that's all I know. It's all I've known growing up and studied. It would be a different road to walk, unless you're willing to impart some of what I should expect going forward.
I'll impart much on all of you. As a symbol, I would have you take these, and as the dragon's voice echoes out, in front of each of you, 5 small material objects appear into existence. They look like small bands, each one a sort of multicolored gold. And the dragon continues, they float in space in front of you, just beyond your reach. You would have to try and leap off of the sphere to grab them, though who knows what would happen if you attempted such a thing. The thing continues, and the dragon's voice echoes out again. If you accept, I will impart to you my gifts, but from this point forward, your allegiance will be absolute, and I'll have you know that as Ghost, there is still much that I can do to bring down those that I am betrayed by.
My whole life, I have studied the school of divination, the stars in the night sky, the things that I have seen in the brief time that I've been here reveal to me that you are the most powerful and knowledgeable being that I've ever had the grace of speaking with. As my goal is to further my magics and learn more about the divination arts, I can think of no better teacher or leader to follow than you. And I'll just reach my hand, not jumping towards it, but reach my hand towards the band.
As you reach out, the band looks like it's slowly moving towards you. It's still out of reach, but gradually it moves for your hand. The dragon calls out again. Trent, I'll show you what it is out there in the stars. You'll learn more than you could possibly hope to know now. I will happily welcome you into my service, not as an intimidated or fearful individual who moves along because they fear death, but somebody who has something greater in mind. Take the ring. And the ring moves over, this time much faster. It lands in the palm of your hand. Like everything else in this world, it feels cool to the touch.
I slide it on. Probably on my dominant hand, my right hand.
Sure. You place the ring onto your hand, and a sort of serene sense comes over you. An electrifying feeling runs through your body. As for the rest of you, when the dragon comes rotating around again, it looks at you once more, a predatory glance, the rings floating nearby.
I would like to nod my head in acceptance.
And why is it that you would have this ring, Illyria? I think I know. The ring starts to move in your direction. Your palm outstretched, it hovers towards you, but it doesn't quite make it to your hand. The dragon stares in your direction as it rotates past.
Honestly, I don't follow anyone. And, I'm terrified.
Useful enough. The ring floats over and lands in your hand. Then fear me. Do you put the ring on?
Yep.
Okay. A power surges through you. The dragon rotates around again, staring at the 3 to not have taken the rings yet. It's so far away that its gaze, with no eyes, just these peering skull sockets, is strange in that it feels like it lands on 3 of you in particular.
I'd be certain to step up. Yeah.
Hold on. So I will pipe up real quick, kind of giving more choice to the other 2, right? Your lordship, I took an oath of devotion to Azun. To betray him would be breaking one of my oaths. As I am willing to do whatever you ask, you are still a respected dragon that we can only tell stories of the legends. I, in good conscience, could not say I could be devoted to you while tossing aside everything I know and breaking my own oath that I am devoted to Azun. Would it be okay for me to do your bidding, but just be not informed of all that those who accept your seat?
I'm reluctant to give you such a gift, that you choose a creature like that over me, but I suppose you don't know any better now, do you?
Since I was born a hatchling, this is all I've studied, all I've been raised with, and my oaths were prepared and taken, and like you said, this is all I know, your lordship.
I'll extend to you a courtesy I would not to these other fleshy creatures. Take the ring and keep it alongside. Don't wear it until you're certain to accept my allegiance, but I'll let you make that decision at a later date.
Thank you, your lordship. I bow and I'll reach out and grab the ring, holding it in like a tight fist.
Sure. It floats to your hand and you pocket the thing. Zencast and Merton, you're the two last who have not received the ring yet. It floats just out of reach.
I'd step up and extend a hand, waiting to tell him, talk to him, answer questions.
You understand, liar, that your revenge may never come. What I need of you, the game that I wish to play with these different colors, might never have you even come close to this kill. Can you live with that?
Well, we all begin as something small, our desires small, and as we learn, greater desires appear. I have certainly found greater desires. That is the reason why I was able to leave so easily. The pact I'm currently a part of was not one of complete agreeance, but of necessity to grow. And whether you want me to cast him aside completely, devote myself to you, whether you want to work with him, whether you don't care, either way, I seek knowledge and strength to grow, to be able to do what it is that I please. And if you're willing to offer the powers he gave, I'm sure he would not be offended, as he knows my path.
I don't know him. Not by name. However, I do feel his power, just as I feel your form. It runs through you, and I've decided that he is petty. I would happily offer you something in return if you were to renounce him. What greater a thing than a betrayal for one whose sole purpose has been revenge and now turns to something even better? Plans within plans. It's only fitting, is it not?
You could say that. I wouldn't see it as a betrayal to him. His name is Jazix, by the way.
Roll luck,
his interests.
please.
That's pretty lucky. 17.
The imp has come far since my day. I admire him. So many rungs of the ladder he's climbed. One has to nod in admiration towards such accomplishment, though he's still much further down than I am. I don't think that he'll mind if I borrow one of his servants. Surely he has others in the world. Would you accept the immortal dragon as your patron instead?
He helped me in my time of greatest need, and I'll always be thankful, but him and I both know that our interests are not exactly aligned. He never seemed offended, but he didn't stick around me very much. I don't think he would mind.
You'll have to find a comfort in knowing that if you disappoint me, it's death on the other side, not merely silence.
Have I not already met death?
Surely, but you can meet it again, one more total than that which you have known. Take the ring. The ring floats over and lands in your hand.
I put the ring on.
Okay. A power surges through you. And finally, the dragon rotates around once more. And Zenkas, it turns towards you, staring into your soul. The dragon continues. You say, so little, fitting, little one. Well, what is it then? What do you want? Here you are at the crossroads, something that you followed for a while, so far back that it's touched even your family and those who have taught you, and now another path. Which way will you go?
I dig through my bag.
Okay.
I find the little book that my grandfather had with all the things from when he researched stuff and everything that he found that was from, like, about the whispering one that he had written.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing how I was supposed to protect Trent, and then I see him cast away the dagger and the broken orb.
Indeed, what a turn of events. Could you have predicted such a thing when you left your small little city?
I throw my book over.
A blank slate. But something remains, I assume.
And I grab it. What's floating in front of me?
Huh? The ring does not come yet. It hovers just beyond your grasp as the voice continues. So what is it that you intend to do now that that has been cast aside? I think I know, but I would rather hear you say it.
I'm not sure what to say. I'm trying to think of what to say.
Sure, yeah, no problem.
To quote a very wise man, if there was ever a time to choose your words carefully, it's now.
Yeah, I was struggling earlier. Lucian, you're killing it tonight, man. I was like, wow.
Hey, man. Just tell him you're scared.
Yeah, tell me you're a little pussy boy.
So much. That's what I did.
It's not that I'm scared. It's still more scared. Like,
I'm not saying you're actually scared.
I don't know. It's just I'd still be scared as fuck of Deso now.
At least we didn't power him up too much. We only really gave him castle work and benevolence.
Jesus Christ.
We kind of failed on the death cult guys.
Strategic decision.
So we're gonna have to change our name.
All a plan.
Wonderful.
Maybe we'll become a new death cult.
Can we be six Semper Tyrannus?
Should be called Cold
Oh,
Hopper.
that's great.
Semper Tyrannus? That's beautiful.
Oh, that's a whitest kids you know reference. I don't know if you guys know.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I was just going off the Latin. Like, wait, what was the reference?
I'll show you the video after the session.
See.
The skeleton floats by, still staring at you, Zenkas. It waits.
I mean, he already cast aside his book. I assumed he was taking the offer.
He wants to
Something.
hear him say it.
No, I'm looking at the other three. Is something holding him back? Perhaps the spirit murders him. If he betrays the
I
murdered god.
accept the offer, but I'll still be worrying about Asperis watching.
A reasonable worry. The gods are powerful, aren't they? The lives of mortals they hold in their hands, like marionettes they pull on the strings. But now, if you accept this ring, you'll no longer be a part of the show. Isn't that enticing in some way?
I also want to throw, with the shield that I have, I want to rip off the symbol of Asperis I have on it and throw it out.
Ah. Cast aside. Old vows broken. Can you truly accept this ring, knowing that a family lineage will suddenly make a veering path towards some unknown end? Will you stay with the group, take my powers, and protect the others just as you have up to this point?
I will. And only my grandfather believed of Asperis. I didn't know what my mom and dad believed in.
Maybe you'll find solace, or maybe a psychic death, but know that your family's beliefs have died here as you throw away what they've treasured, but perhaps become something greater. The ring is yours, Zenkas. Take it. The ring hovers over and floats towards your hand.
I take it.
And with that, we will end the session.
Woo! Fucking sick.
Well
Yes,
done,
sir.
boyos. We have an extremely long talk to have at the end of this session. So I hope that you'll be able to float around. I know as for UK, there is work and bedtime which must be
We're
had.
good.
Oh, okay. That's
No.
We
perfect.
said this
Okay.
like 3 weeks in a row for the summer.
That's
told
that's
you, we
my
don't have
bad,
that.
but in my defense, it was like that for like a year, so
Oh, that's true, yeah.
to all of those who played this evening, you all survived. There was no combat, very heavy on the RP, but I think that you did very well, and you
Nothing
bumped
wrong
it.
with that?
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with it?
Just with a fucking phone book. Anyway, as for those of you who are watching, all the audience, I hope that you had a good time. We certainly did, and hopefully it made for a good show. To the patrons, this project wouldn't really exist without you, so my sincere thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow as Tuesday Group goes to grapple with all the crazy shit happening in their campaign. Adios.
I stream.
May I post the video? That will be our new name.
Whoo! Oh, you certainly can. I shall kill stream now. Peace out, stream.
Okay, I'm putting it
I'm
in.
going to the washroom quickly, and then I'll be right back.
Putting it in.